a great occasion for BIS to release the revised version of the National Lighting Code on an occasion like this, which is the World Standards Day, and where we celebrate the contribution made by numerous experts all over the globe in development of standards, giving shape to it, and making them futuristic to support our endeavors to make this world a better place to live. The National Lighting Code of India 2025, as it has been released today, as you know, is provides guidance for designing and implementing lighting systems that are safe, efficient, and sustainable. Its recent revision enhances community well-being by promoting energy conservation, public safety, and improved quality of life through the integration of smart technologies, human-centric considerations, and environmental responsibility. In its first version, which was published in 2010, the transition towards solid state lighting in the country was just at the beginning when the National Lighting Code was published. Since then, in the last 15 years, a lot of development has happened, and LED lighting and other kind of advanced solutions have replaced our conventional design in the space of lighting. Therefore, the revision of National Lighting Code was imminent, and it was very timely also. I can only say that a lot of hard work has gone into this revision, not only by the members who are the members of the technical committee, but also by experts from industry, even experts who are not a part of BIS technical committee as such as on today, but because of their sheer enthusiasm and motivation, they continue to contribute to this revision. So I am grateful to all of them for their contribution. And today's workshop is just a curtain raiser where we will delve into what all the changes that have come into this revision, looking at the future, looking at a more sustainable practices. But from here onwards, we plan to conduct a series of workshops throughout the country involving the experts from the technical committee to sensitize not only the users, the industries, the regulators, the government about good lighting design and practices so that NLC in its true spirit is assimilated by one and all. So I hope this workshop will help us understand what are the changes, but it is a very short workshop of around 3 hours today, just to kickstart the effort. And I welcome you all to this workshop, and I hope this will be very enlightening, and it can create the enthusiasm and motivation in all of us to take it forward for the betterment of the society and the country. So with these words, I welcome you all again to this workshop, and all those viewers who have joined us live through YouTube, I also welcome them to this workshop once again. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address. I now request Ms. Srinagar, Deputy Director General Standardization 1, to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Thank you, Nitish. A very good afternoon to all of you. Dr. Ashok Rajput, Chairman ETDC, uh, Dr. Swati Majumdar, Chairperson ETD 49, Asit Maharana, Head of ETD, and all the distinguished experts, speakers, industry leaders, colleagues from BIS, and one and all present over here in this very important workshop on National Lighting Code of India 2025. So as Asit had already told that this lighting code was initially published in 2010, and it was a much needed revision which has been brought out by tireless efforts of BIS colleagues and ETD 49 experts. So I must say that, like, we were given the deadline to publish this by this word standard day, and we had been frantically following up during the last months the status of this, the various chapters of this publication. And I must appreciate, this is my, like, I would like to take this opportunity for expressing my sincere appreciation to all the ATD 49 members, and especially to Dr. Swati Majumdar, the member secretary Neha, Asit, head ETD, and Dr. Ashok Rajput, who had really contributed. Like, he had, I think he had read word by word, and then, like, pointed out various editorial errors and various suggestions, like during the last 11th hour, like before getting it published. So I must thank all of you for getting this published by the deadline which we were given. And this code aligns with the emerging lighting technology needs. And as head ETD has already pointed out, that this voluminous code now consisting of, I think, more than 900 pages. The initial version was around 300 pages. So you can imagine, like, the how much content has gone, which would be useful for various stakeholders to refer to, including government, regulators, industries, users, and everybody who will be using this code. So this, like, as we are moving towards the future, where lighting transcends mere illumination to become a vital component of human well-being and environmental stewardship, this code will definitely serve as the foundation for harmonizing technical standards and promoting energy efficiency and encouraging technological advancement in the field of lighting. So, as India advances towards realizing our Viksit Bharat vision by 2047 and achieving net zero emission by 2070, sustainability is the most important issue which we need to address. And I am sure that this code will really emerge as a vital instrument which will align countries' lighting needs with broader environmental and developmental priorities. So the revised NLC, it contributes significantly to the vision by promoting solar lighting and IoT based lighting. So the solar lighting, it encourages the integration of renewable solar energy into lighting system to reduce dependence on fossil fuels, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and enhance energy resilience, especially in remote and undeserved regions. And solar lighting thus becomes a key pillar in building sustainable and self-reliant infrastructure. And regarding IoT based lighting, for harnessing the power of smart connected lighting system for real time energy management, predictive maintenance, and adaptive illumination, the intelligent solutions minimizes energy waste, optimize performance, and extend system longevity. So when combined with solar technology, IoT enabled lighting maximizes the efficiency and impact of clean energy utilization. Furthermore, this code also is intrinsically aligned with several UN SDGs, including, like about all these SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG 11, 12, and 13, and so on. So NLC will really drive the adoption of sustainable lighting technology, which will reduce carbon footprint while enhancing quality of life in the country. So, in addition to the conventional application which were there in the earlier code, so this revised course, this will address the emerging and modern lighting domain, such as horticulture lighting and human-centric lighting, and new indoor appliance applications, and expanded outdoor applications, and ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. So these enhancements reflect a strong commitment to innovation, energy efficiency, and inclusive development. The revised NLC serve as a forward-looking framework for achieving better, smarter, and more sustainable lighting solution across the nation. So, in the nutshell, this code is more than a set of the technical guideline. It is a strategic enabler for the sustainable development, innovation, and improved life of the quality. So, stakeholder in this mission, your as a important stakeholders, your active participation and insight during this workshop will be very valuable. And today there are going to be just like the bird's eye view of regarding this code would be told to all the participants over here. I'm sure some of you have contributed in the development of this code, and so let's work together to eliminate a sustainable future for our nation, aligned with global commitment and driven by cutting edge technology and responsible practices. I must thank each one of you for being here, and we'll be conducting a series of workshops from now onwards to disseminate more and more information about this revised NLC across the country, throughout the country. We'll be having separate sessions, and I think the plan has already been made, and we'll be sharing that plan also with you soon. So thank you, and I wish you a very productive and informative workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the inaugural address. Now, as we move forward with the technical workshop on the National Lighting Code of India 2025, I would request Ms. Neha Agarwal to deliver the presentation on the updates and the new directions in National Lighting Code of India 2025. Ms. Agarwal has over 9 years of experience in standard formulation activities and has been closely associated with the development of standards in the field of lighting and electrotechnology. Over to you.
So respected DDG ma'am, Reena Garg ma'am, Head of Electrotechnical Department, Saswati ma'am, Rajput sir, very good afternoon to all of you and happy World Standards Day. So it's my pleasure to share the key insights and new directions that has been brought out in the revised National Lighting Code of India. And before jumping to that, I have kept few slides related to Bureau of Indian Standards and its related work that we are doing. So that slide. So as we all know that Bureau of Indian Standard is the national standards body of India, where the primary objective of BIS is to develop the national standards across various sectors of engineering, starting from the electrotechnology to electronics, food and agricultural. We have a department on mechanical engineering, production, and so on. So this is the primary objective of BIS. Through the Act of BIS 2016 and the rules drafted therein, it gives the authority to BIS to do the conformity assessment scheme, the certification activity, where product services systems are certified as per the relevant Indian standards. And to process this conformity assessment scheme, BIS has a network of 8 laboratories across India. And apart from that, BIS can also recognize any lab in India or outside India to perform the testing of products as per the relevant Indian standard to provide the certification mark. Then BIS is also involved in capacity building program through various training programs organized in this particular institute, that is NETS. So this is one of the important activity carried out by BIS. And another important activity is hallmarking, where precious metal articles like silver and gold are being brought under this hallmarking scheme of BIS. Coming to the standard formulation activity, as I said, the standards formulation is the primary objective of BIS, and it is being done through the various division councils in various sectors. And if we particularly talk about the Indian standards in the field of electrotechnology, it is being dealt by Electrotechnical Division Council. Where the standards are being developed in the electrotechnical sector, starting from the generation, transmission, distribution, utility, and battery energy storage, process control, primary and secondary batteries, etc., including lighting. At present, under Electrotechnical Division Council, there are 46 sectional committees where more than 1600 experts are engaged with us from various categories like industries, academia, labs, user side, NGOs, etc. And there, the standards are being developed in the electrotechnical sector. If we talk about per se the lighting sector, the important standards that are being developed in ETD 23 and ETD 49. So there are 46 sectional committee, as I said. So amongst the 46 sectional committee, two technical committees, ETD 23 and ETD 49, are responsible for development of Indian standards in the field of lighting, where ETD 23 is primarily dealing with the standardization of subjects such as light sources and their related auxiliaries and accessories. And ETD 49 is primarily producing standards on related to illumination engineering code of practices and luminaires. Various types of luminaires are covered under ETD 49. So these are the some important standards that are being developed by ETD 23 and 49. One of the important standard for that, for which we have gathered here, it is the National Electric Code of India, SP 72. SP stands for Special Publication. Then IS 10322 series for luminaires, where various types of luminaires are covered. And IS 16102, 16103 for LED bulbs and modules. There, part 1 and part 2 is for the safety and performance. And then IS 16614 for double cap LED linear lamps and so on. There are few new subjects, or there are few existing Indian standards which are under development. Those are smart and connected LED lighting systems, luminaires for swimming pools. And these are the few standards that are under revision. They are very important because they all are under compulsory registration scheme of BIS, like LED bulbs, modules, luminaire, etc. Then there are important some ISO and IEC projects. As we heard in the inauguration sessions also in the morning, that India is actively participating in international forums in standardization activity in IEC and ISO. And ETD 23 and ETD 49 are also actively participating in IEC technical committees, which are IEC TC 34 and its related subcommittees on lighting and luminaire. So there, these are few of the projects that are going on and which are important as per the Indian perspective, also like horticultural lighting, germicidal UV irradiation safety, and OLED. So we are talking about a standard, but I think we need to understand how standards are being formulated and what is the process that we are following. So this is the process where we are taking any standard or any subject as a project approach. So it starts from the proposal stage and it goes up to the publication. So when we receive any new subject, that is, it is being deliberated into the concerned sectional committee, where it is being approved on the basis of few parameters, whether it is relevant or not, whether any international or national standard exists on the subject or not. And then once the subject is approved in the concerned sectional committee, then a working draft is being prepared by the sectional committee. Once the draft is ready, then it is being circulated to all the concerned sectional committee members, where members review that draft and give their comments, and those comments are well deliberated and then incorporated into the draft, and then wide circulation draft is being prepared, which is then hosted on BIS website for public comment, where anyone and everyone can review and offer their comments. And then after incorporating all the comments received at WC stage, it comes to the final draft, and then we take the approval of division council on those draft, and then it is sent for publication and for gazetting. And that's how a standard is being published with the due diligence and due consultation with all the relevant stakeholders in that particular field. This slide I have kept to just to pressing the importance of national lighting code, like how, why it is important and why we should follow. As you can see that if we see the energy used by the lighting sector in India itself, then in overall India, lighting sector accounts for 17% of annual electricity consumption, where 1.5% is consumed by the street lights alone. If we talk about the annual household bills of residential and commercial buildings, then lighting account for 20% of monthly electricity bill, and it goes up to 40% if it comes to the commercial building. So if this much energy is being consumed by lighting sector alone, then it gives us the ample opportunity to further reduce it and follow the good lighting practices to overall achieve the sustainability and the efficiency in the overall system. So thereby it gives us the implication as well as the opportunity to further reduce it by following the good lighting practices. Good lighting practices means that when the lighting is sustainable, it is efficient, it is safe for all. So thereby it is directly contribute to India's net zero to 2070 target also. You all must be aware that India is committed to net zero 2070 target, where we are trying to lowering our power demand and associated emissions. And by considering this importance of lighting sector, the electricity consumed by the lighting sector, Government of India has also launched various schemes in the lighting such as Ujala and SLNP, where in the Ujala scheme, LED bulbs were distributed to reduce the overall electricity consumption, and in the street lighting national program, where outdated traditional bulbs were replaced with the efficient LED bulbs. So therefore, practicing awareness and compliance with the national lighting code will foster a culture of energy responsibility and sustainable development, and it will further help us to reach our target of net zero 2070. So this slide gives you some history of national lighting code in India. So in before 2010, there were no standardized practices for lighting, and therefore it led to the inconsistency and inefficiency in the system, and it was overall unsafe. So therefore, a need was felt that lighting installation or the lighting designing should be standardized so that the overall system can be more efficient, more safe, and it can be towards the sustainability. So therefore, National Lighting Course was introduced in year 2010 by Bureau of Indian Standards with the same committee ETD 49, with the objective to ensure that lighting design and installation adhere to the best practices in energy efficiency, safety, sustainability, and performance. The main intent was to promote the good lighting practices. As I said, good lighting practices means that minimizes light pollution, glare, and trespass while conserving energy, ensuring safety, security, utility, and productivity. So this was the history of National Lighting Code developed in year 2010. So earlier code followed the structure of like this, like the 13 chapters and 29 sections within, where it started with the vocabulary, physics of light and the electric light sources. But as Assis sir said that earlier code was covering the traditional light sources, therefore all the lighting designs were as per the traditional light sources. And then it also covered the interior and exterior illumination practices to the emergency lighting and lighting maintenance. So this was the structure of the National Lighting Code 2010. Now, in the last 15 years, I think lighting has changed dramatically. And nowadays, lighting is not is merely just for the visualizing things or for the visual task, but scientific studies also shows that light has also artificial light has also impact on our mood, well-being, and behavior of the human being as well as the plant or nature. So therefore, it was very much needed to revise the National Lighting Code in order to incorporate all the significant advancement that have been taken place in the field of lighting. So therefore, a revision was introduced, the revision was taken up, and now the revised National Lighting Code is structured into 16 parts and 45 sections. And in October 2024, under ETD 49, under the chairmanship of Dr. Saswati Majumdar Madam, we created 14 working groups to review the chapters authored by various experts and to align them into the BIS format. So this is the structure of the revised National Lighting Code of India 2025, where we followed the earlier structure, but with the enhanced scope and enhanced vision. So here the lighting vocabulary is the chapter same, but the content is totally different, and it incorporates the latest terminologies related to the lighting. This part two is related to the physics of light, because lighting application is a different thing, but it is always advisable to understand the physics behind it to properly design the lighting. Then part 3 covers the electric light sources and accessories, which is completely revised to incorporate the LED lighting. The detailed about these chapters will be followed by the Sudha Satwa sir. So he will be covering the detail of each chapter. Part 4 is about luminaire. Part 5 is about 5 and 6 is about interior and outdoor lighting. 7 is about the energy effective lighting systems. 8 talks about the daylighting for building. It press the importance of the natural light in the building. Artificial light is there, but natural light is very much necessary. Part 9 is about the emergency lighting. And then part 10 talks about the installation and maintenance aspects of lighting, where it is having 5 sections. But these are part 11 to 16 are the new additions in the lighting code, starting from the human-centric lighting, connectivity for lighting system, adverse effects, horticultural, science of UVGI, and solar lighting. So these are the 5 parts that have been added, new chapters that have been added. So if I summarize the changes in one slide, then I would say these are the technological key changes in the National Lighting Code. The first and very most important is the transition from the traditional light source to the LED, to the solid state lighting. So this is one of the important changes that brought out in revised code. The second is we incorporated the smart light feature. Now anybody and everybody is using smart bulbs, smart connected lighting in their homes. So that was very much needed, and it is also beneficial to use those smart controls as per your need to further reduce the electricity consumption and give you the smart features. Then another part is we try to introduce these advanced lighting strategies in specialized applications such as horticultural, heritage site, healthcare, tunnels, and more. So this is the part 6 and part 5 and part 6 for illumination and for outdoor illumination. In the indoor, these 4 spaces are covered additionally. These are retail premises, art and museum, lighting for residential area, and lighting for places of worship. And for outdoor, these 4 areas were added newly. Chapters are there for aviation obstruction lighting, high mast lighting, tunnel lighting, and signage lighting. So these are the expanded scope for indoor and outdoor lighting. It shows the that revised code has some broadening horizons, like key additions in specialized lighting applications such as human centric lighting. Like I said, that now artificial lighting has its own impact on the health, mood, and behavior. So human centric light addresses the biological and psychological impacts of lighting, where the light can be adjusted with its color and temperature as per the daytime, or it is aligned with the circadian rhythm of the human being. So that is being addressed in the human centric lighting. Horticultural lighting is a very new topic that has been introduced, where lighting is nowadays are also being used for the plant growth, for the stimulating the plant growth. So this is for the horticultural lighting. Then this is also one of the new subject for ultraviolet and ultraviolet germicidal irradiation application in hospitals, where after COVID it came into picture to kill the pathogens and disinfect the floors and surfaces at the hospital. So these are being used in the especially in the hospital or in the health sector. And the solar lighting, like it covers the fundamental requirements of the solar lighting and installation. So in summary, these are the changes or the key highlights of the revised national lighting code. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your insightful presentation and for sharing valuable updates on the revised code. To continue the session, I now invite Dr. Sudhasattva Chakravarti, Associate Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, Jadavpur University, to deliver his talk on the Understanding the National Lighting Code of India. He is a leading expert in lighting science and technology with over 17 years of experience. He heads the Illumination Engineering Laboratory at the Jadavpur University and is an active member of the EDD 23 and EDD 49 Sectional Committee of BIS. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. So, am I audible? So, as teaching is my initial and the primary focus, so that's why I sometimes move here and there. So, please pardon me. I know that post-lunch sessions we had a rush of melatonin in our body, which is triggering to go for a get rid of my boring lecture. So that is why I am ensuring that my lecture will be very much specific. Some of the topics which are already being covered, I'm not going to regulate that. But the topic on which I was supposed to say is understanding the National Lighting Code. Initially, once I was thinking that I'll be talking about what is there in the National Lighting Code in 2010, what will be there in 2025, what are the journey. Then I got completely confused whether I'll be talking about what is there. Because after today, once you will receive the book, you will see what are there in already. So what else I need to say? Then I start thinking that if the fundamental question is being asked by any of my undergraduate or postgraduate student that what do you mean by code? It's code, code, code everywhere. If code is there, what do you mean by standards? What do you mean by recommendations? So there are some classifications. To understand that, I have the way I have perceptualized or understood that lighting code, that is, I am going to share with you that. So, background of a national codes, as we know that once we talk about any code, it starts with some idea. It is a standard, it is a recommendation, it is a practice. What is that? Standard will say some few features, few specific value, methodologies we are mandatorily or supposed to be maintained. That is what our standard always talks about. But once we talk about recommendation, that is where you have option, you can definitely follow, you may not, but those are not standard. That's an idea which will generate. And finally, the practices which we every day follow. Standard is there, we are trying to meet up the standards. Sometimes whether it is going at all relevant or irrelevant, we hardly care, we strictly follow the standards. There is a lack. So that means the practices, whatever we have, we need to escalate it to a standard. So that is why there should be a specific part which is a code, which is not a textbook, which will not going to tell you a lot of theoretical background, but the young lighting practitioners to the very veteran lighting stalwart, once we are going to adopt a practice, that practice should definitely incorporate the recommendation, but the background of the recommendation should be known to me. The standard, we can, just an example, IS 1944, with which I was very closely associated with. Punya Shahab is there also. We had a lot of fight many times with the meetings. So we were trying to formulate mostly some parameters which we are supposed to meet for different categories of roads. That light level is required to be maintained. But the thing is that being a beginner, a practitioner who is supposed to start doing that, it is more relevant for him to know about what is illuminance, what is luminance, why we are going for the luminance, why luminance is getting outdated, and the parameter like small target visibilities are coming, contrast thresholds are coming. So if in that case he start opening a book, textbook, he will get completely lost, because always in our practice we academicians are being said that you are more happy with the board, we are not being able to relate in a practical field. That thing happens once we consider a textbook. So that is why code is the bridge of that. So the way how I perceptualize, code is a bridge between a standard, just like I have few slides, I want to show you some of the national international code, just like this example. Here you can see we have IS 1944, which is an outdated one. I hope by this year we will be able to publish the new version. Since last few years, I am hoping that, hope this year we will definitely reach to that end. But here, this is a National Lighting Code 2010. There was a dedicated chapter on road lighting. So that chapter is not a copied version of the IS 1944. This year also it happened. We have NLC 2025, where one dedicated chapter for road lighting. Lighting veterans Francis Saib will be talking about that more elaborately, but it is not a replica of IS 1944, which is supposed to be published by this year end. So the code will definitely say something which will relate, which will always refer the standards, but a practitioner should definitely go with that. Some of the features we need to follow once we talk about the codes. Like codes are based on the recommendation. So how codes are getting formulated, that is a question. I have said so many words about the codes. Now you might be thinking that what is the basis? How code will be formulated? Is it a research? Is it a practice? Is it not? There are many more features. first fundamental features like codes are based on the recommendation from the informed experts and on the subject. So informed expert may be a scientist who did that, some academician who always calculate the things, some of the practitioners every night who used to see the road lighting, do the all points of the measurements. So everything will converge to the code. Now the important part is that code is not my topic, just like a paper I have published in a journal. Code is a national property. So national body should definitely make a charge over the code, such a way it can go to a proper implementation. So that is why the third feature is that code definitely, whatever is there, it should require to be updated. Just the way we were talking about under Shashwati Madam once I was working doing my PhD, I can recall earlier days we have 5 LED in 2008, one project we did in our university. But now that 5 LED, I definitely have few samples to my student to show that what was the prehistoric LEDs we had. So this journey was there. So in 2010, once LED was there, it was mostly the 5 LEDs, not a general purpose today's LED. So code required to be updated right now. So 2025, we are launching that. At the same time, I feel we should take a oath that in 2035, at least National Lighting Code 2035 will come. Otherwise, it will be stagnant. So that is a very important feature of that part. Now, I want to show you some few glimpses of the international and national codes we have. It is not the everything. Some examples I want to cite just to make a clear understanding about the code. CIE, if we consider about the CIE, it's an ocean. We know there are several CIE standards we refer. But apart from the standards, CIE have technical reports, technical notes, position index. They have the international lighting vocabulary. So they never mention that it is a code, but basically those are the codes. Those are not the dedicated CIE standards. Just one example, for road lighting, we use CIE 115. This was not a code. This was a standard. We follow that standard. On the other way, the CIE technical report, CIE 140, as I am working with the road lighting, I am referring that. Don't think that I am very much biased with road lighting. CIE 140 is a standard practice which talk about the calculation related to the road lighting calculation. So there it will never tell you any value. No references are there. But what are the practical methodologies of calculation of different lighting parameter in practical road that is being mentioned. In the same way, we have ISNA. We refer many times. They have lighting science nomenclature definition, lighting library, lighting handbook, and this lighting handbook is now has changed with the name lighting library right now. Whatever we had, the 10th version of the lighting handbook, just example like that, the CIE one. This is an example of kind of code whatever CIE is offering. It may be a technical note, it may be a position statement during the COVID phases they were developed. This is a technical report we have, road lighting calculation as I was referring CIE 140. We have technical notes, all are part of a code. So that means it is not always mandatory that you have to put the term code in your writing, but it is important that whether you are going to conclude somewhere, whether it is only few values and some parameter we are supposed to maintain. No. So that is why it is a part of code. ISN I was talking about, this is a lighting handbook. Values are there, but if you see in every chapters of ISN handbook, they have some theoretical background. So this is right now called the lighting library. One of the very important standard those who are from the industry, we refer many times, that is a lighting control protocol. This is offered by, it is an old version, now a new version 2025 has been published, so which talks about the control. So we have incorporated new chapter, that is a connected lighting. So in that connected lighting, the biggest pillar is a lighting control, and where this lighting control protocol was there. Why? Lighting control protocol was an umbrella where you can have better understanding. Lighting control protocol will not be talking about any hardware. Neither it will talk about your internet protocol or IPv6 protocol, today's modern internet, or the outdated TCP/IP protocol. It will not talk about. But it will talk about an umbrella where you can have a clear understanding what are the fundamental role you have. I am a practitioner who are supposed to develop a company who will provide the lighting control solution. How I will start? What are the features I should have? So this protocol will give me that. I have few slides on that also. So it is as a whole we are going to get. International Energy Conservation Code 2021. So I'm not going to talk about because I just want to show you few of the codes. This is our own national lighting code 2010. Madam has already shown, so I am again showing that this national lighting code was evolved. So far, my knowledge is concerned. During 1995 onwards, the initiative was taken. If I am not wrong, madam, you can confirm me. 1995 onwards, possibly the initiative was taken. I know that in our universities, a stalwart Professor Ishar Bandyopadhyay, Mr. P.K. Bandyopadhyay, they have initiated that part to develop that lighting code because they realized why the lighting field will suffer. Electrical part, building code, everywhere we have the codes. But lighting, there are some books, textbooks, and some standards. Let's make a bridge such a way a practitioner can always be acquainted with the codes and references they have. So it was really a novel, and I think they were visionary because 1995-97 it was started with a lot of research and finally it was concluded in 2010 if I am not wrong in the month of December. Possibly in our university there was a workshop in November where I have also presented. So there was an initial part and in 2010 December the first version of the National Lighting Code came and it was maybe the 13 chapters were there, maybe it was not that updated that at that time, but it was a revolutionary. I can see Dr. Rajesh R.S. Mandal was there. He's a veteran person in this field. So many more person who lighting expert, lighting stalwart, I rather to say, they have continuously contributed in this field to make it happen that there will be a dedicated code for all. That is dedicated code for lighting purpose. It's not for the others. Just the way we have our national electrical code, so outdated version and also the new version 2023 National Electrical Code of India. So that is a kind of, so what is the idea? If you see every parameter of electricity, because I am also from electrical department, I work with that. Sometime I refer the National Electrical Code of India also. Many more parameters starting from earthing, surge protection, everything is very well mentioned there, but it is not a book. I'm not going to open any power system book, neither I am going to refer some values. I am going to get a guideline which will give me a comprehensive idea to start my practice. This is our national building code, which was being there. I don't want to say any more thing, especially in front of you. I'm not going to open any chapter, but you are the veteran person. I have a very little knowledge, and I came to know that there is a dedicated chapter on lighting, but and electrical. So definitely, because building code without lighting and electrical doesn't make sense. Yeah, so that is why it should definitely be there. And we have this energy conservation building code. We know in 2000, possibly in the year of 2002, our Bureau of Energy Efficiency BE was formed under Ministry of Power, Government of India. And under them, they have worked 2002. Why the BE was formed? Because before that, the power department was more concerned about the generation. They have never thought of that someday will come where we can optimize the consumption. So if you have to optimize the consumption, it was quite impossible to work with the Ministry of Power. It is such a big concern, big area. So that is why a dedicated statutory body was developed. If I am not wrong, that is BEE. Yeah, already I have this one. Hmm. So, just I slowly I was jumping there. So in this way, what happened? Then Bureau of Energy Efficiency BE formed in 2002. They took 5 years to do a lot of work, extensive work, and that's the result we know. Energy Conservation Building Code ECBC 2007. The first concept of lighting power density came everywhere. There were also many more chapters. One of the big chapter was lighting. We understood that the idea of green building can definitely reflect with a parameter called lighting power density. So every time we always search for a metric, isn't it? So we, the engineers, are always searching for some metrics. Somebody says something, until and unless I can measure it, I'll be never happy. So that's why this lighting power density was the first term introduced, which was making happy with a loophole. That loophole is that I experienced, because on that time I was working in a power station. One day, once I was returning back to my power station to my chamber, which was in building, I've seen it was completely dark. So I immediately rushed up to my one of my senior boss's chamber and asked her, "Sir, what happened? Why the building is dark?" So he said that energy audit is there. We need to switch off the light, otherwise we'll not be able to maintain the lighting power density. So I realized there is a hole. Only lighting power density cannot help us. We need to fix up the light level also. Otherwise, the lacuna will be there. I will be doing a very inefficient design, but compromised. So that is why the later version of the energy conservation building code, they took that challenges that only LPD will not be a sufficient parameter. Then people will be more playful, everybody like me also. That the LPD I will reach, but light will be compromised. So that cannot be allowed. So that's why the energy conservation building code. Now, with the greater days we are having, we are facing different challenges. There are different type of buildings we have. That's why ECBC plus, ECBC plus plus, there are different type of heritage buildings. For every cases, we have different values of that. So that was being considered in our ECBC. That is, they have introduced the sustainable building part also. So that is why energy conservation. So that, see, we are not ahead. This time we have incorporated sustainability in our maintenance chapter also, if I am not wrong. So in this case, ECBC, they have introduced, again, if you open an ECBC, it is not only values, it's not only some LPD values, it will tell you the background. We came to know the two fundamental methods. I am quite assured that you all know about that. One is called space function method, another is called building area method. How can I calculate the space? The entire building I can divide in a space function method and building area method. So that's how we can calculate the LPDs. So that idea was extremely important, definitely, but that is required to be explained in the same way. Otherwise, a practitioner or a designer will be confused. So that is why now next part, background of development of a code. So how can I jump to develop a code? Already I have mentioned the some scientific experiment and hypothesis we need. So the scientists and academicians are doing in collaboration with the industry. Industrial input, very important part. And lastly, the experience of the practitioners. I think I'm not running out, right? Hmm. So experience of the practitioners, so which is required. So all three component will finally formulate a code. Madam was showing about the different steps of the standardization you were saying. So I'm saying that those are some practical steps we need to follow. Those are the protocols we are going to follow. But how we can generate a code? How do I know 300 lux is required for this room? How do I know in a A1 type of road we need 30 lux on average? So that means, just to example, I'm saying that we need to do some kind of scientific experiments. The standard will take the value and the theoretical background will be emphasized on the codes. Industrial inputs, lot of things, calculation, experiment say something, but we know the most tricky parameter of lighting, what is that? That is a human being. Because we are the human subjects, our requirements are different, so that's why it is very difficult to converge with a particular point. As we have a dedicated chapter on human-centric lighting. So if we talk about the all scientific experiments, just one example, the scientific experiments can be divided in three approaches and two figure of merits. One is real task study. I'll do the experiment in a real field. Second one is a laboratory simulated study. So in that case, we will simulate, we will make a mimic of the actual experiment in laboratory. And the third is a completely analytical experiment, which we never do perform in our daily life. Am I audible? So then I better jump over here. So in that case, what happened? Once we are using that kind of approach, the real task study, the problem is a biasing. Just simple example, again road lighting. So I want to know what is the driver's performance under yellow light and white light. I have a particular road. Now I have got some hypothesis, but if we go to other road, the value may definitely change. Okay. Sorry. I can, it's my mistake. So what happened in that case? Once we talk about the real road, there will be a biasness. The results, whatever I'm getting, I don't know whether it is a only for that road or it can be generalized. So that is why you see the first figure of merit we have, this is called face validity. I can instant validate. I have got the result, just an example. Under white light, we have a better result. Just take an example. It's not an hypothesis. So what happened? If somebody challenges me that how you have got this, I will take him to the same road, do the experiment again, and instantly validate this is the result. So that's why very high face validity. But generality is very low. I cannot generalize. I cannot comment that for every road light, if we have a white light, we will be having better result. We cannot conclude because there are many parameters which are associated. Those are variable parameters. Temperature, pressure, your ambient condition, your visual guidance, everything will matter. So that is why we'll jump to the next part, laboratory simulated result. So I'll simulate the road in my laboratory. I'll make a mimic of that. The problem is that in this case, phase validity will definitely reduce because it is not the real road. Question will always be there. I am doing in an artificial environment. The result may differ. But generality, not as poor as real tax, but definitely it's not good. The third one, I'll perform some experiment which is not at all related with our daily activity. One example, if we visit an ophthalmologist chamber, sometimes we do kind of work, some rings are there opening in a particular direction. And if it is being asked that how many rings have the same opening in the same direction? This is a called Landau's ring experiment. So this experiment is never connected with our daily work, daily task. But this experiment have a connection between maybe the contrast level, maybe the luminance level, maybe the color of light and human performance. So from there, we can generate a model. So in that third one, this analytical experiment have a very poor face validity. But generality is broad. It is not a specific task. This task will talk about your human eye brain coordination. Now, come back to the lighting vocabulary. Already, Neha Madam has explained a lot. So I am just trying to touch up few of the points as we are, in this case, as we already know, we are introducing a lighting vocabulary where it was already there, where the solar radiation simulator, cove lighting, germicidal action spectrum, those terms are now becoming very important. So aeronautical lights, beacon, chromatic adaptation, blue light hazards, which is a very burning issue now. Once we talk about the LED, we are carrying the blue light hazards there. But what is that? How to assess? Everything will be there. Physics of light, as we all know, that in 1905, the quantum physics mentioned that light definitely has a particle property which carries a quantum of energy. And in 1924, very well-known scientist de Broglie in his hypothesis proved that light have a particle quantum property, but it have wave property as well. So it's a duality theory or unified theory. So some of the new parameter under physics of light is being introduced because the quantum light, we always talk about the quantum physics and lights, that some phenomena like polarizations, interreflections, they cannot be explained with that. So that is why de Broglie developed its hypothesis in 1924 to talk about light if wave. It's have a dedicated wavelength. So that in this case also we have lighting phenomena like dispersion, polarization, interference, photoelectric effect that has been introduced. So such a way, beginners should definitely, it's not beginner, in every stages, once we are practicing something, we should know the background of that. Lamp, I am not going to say anything because in 2010, whatever we had, LED was just phasing in. And now rest of the lamps are phasing out. See the kind of we have issue. So like that, if we talk about that, but the understanding for a general practitioner, it is I'm talking about, because now I see many of the stalwarts are here. For all of you, this is a very common questions that sometimes we are getting confused that LED package, LED array, LED module, LED non-integrated type or integrated type lamp, LED luminaire, how we can differentiate with that. See, we have a dedicated standard. Neha ma'am already has mentioned IS 16102, 103, 104, 105. We have the standards which are definitely making in part. But in general, we can define LED package, LED array, LED module, LED different type. In nutshell, this is an attempt we are going to take. Why this is important? Think about, you are talking about a LED luminaire. The way you will test a LED luminaire, this is not applicable for a single LED chip. You have thousands and millions of numbers of chips. Is it possible for measure the intensity, lumen, everything for them? It is quite impossible and doesn't make sense also. Because finally you will make an array of that. From there you will make a luminaire. So you have to talk about the luminaire as a product. So that is why here you have to categorize. This is my LED package. This is my LED array. This is my integrated LED lamp. This is my LED luminaire. And whether the heat sink will also be considered or not, that is why LED light engines will be there. So this clear understanding about the entire solid state family is very much essential, which is very much there in our new lighting codes. The luminaire part is there already. Mostly luminaires we are talking about. LED made a dramatic change. We know, because previously we were more focused about the reflected part. If you used to call 20 years back designer luminaire, the first calculation they used to start with the reflection. But now see, once LED came, it became a refractive optics. The lens, mirror, that's are being there. So the reflection to refraction, that transition was never easy. So that is why luminaire chapter should definitely take care of that. Interior illumination, Bhavna madam will be talking a lot, so I'm not going to touch some of the points, key features. Few of the new sections we have introduced because the functionality have changed. 20 years back, whatever functionality we had, now few of the functionalities have changed. So that is, we have also used for the outdoor lighting applications where different dock area, stock area, different area. And the most important part is, you know, that 20 years back, we were not very much careful about that. Once I'm installing a light, I'll think about how much light pollution it can generate. But now see, it is IDA, International Dark Sky Association. So they have made it mandatory. Sky pollution, light pollution in their part, take a consideration of the nocturnal life of the animals and birds. Everything is required to be considered. So now definitely for the outdoor luminaire is also becoming a very sensitive part. So that is why new parameters like backlight, uplight, glare, BUG rating has been introduced. 20 years back we didn't had that because we are not that careful. We are more focused about to design a reflected luminaire. The chances of upward light was less, so that's why we are not being that much careful. But now we know LED is a tricky source. I have the lenses, I have a refractive optics, so it can contribute a lot. So this is something, some of the key features. Outdoor lighting, aviation obstruction lighting, high mast lighting, tunnel lighting. We had during our IS 1944, many times we had a discussion that whether we'll go with the tunnel lighting for that or not. So in this case, now the maintenance, energy efficiency, as we are not talking about, say, 2008, 7, 8 onwards, the way we used to talk about the energy efficiency, today we never do say like that. Our perspective of energy efficiency have changed. On that time, we are talking about the energy efficient approaches, but now we are more concerned about sustainability. So energy efficient is a, it's a just taken for granted. It will always be there. What else we can think other than that? But now we are taking sustainability as a added parameter there. So that is why a sustainability clause has been given the more emphasis on this new NLC. Daylight for the building. So that this is a new technology, that is CI standard sky model, understanding of the sky model. Why this is very important? Because your daylight will make your artificial light to be controlled accordingly. 5 minutes more, will it be okay? Okay. So here, emergency lighting. So already we know about that. Installation aspects of the lighting. Once we talk about, there are the mechanical installation, electrical installations. We have the coordination with related disciplines. So everything is there. Additional part, human-centric lighting. One of my favorite area, because I work on that part. Human-centric lighting we talk about. I hope melatonin is now driving all of us, right? Not so far, okay. So many times it happened, my students, sometimes I, in undergraduate classes, other than the illumination, I used to take the electrical classes also. I see post-lunch classes, once I go to the classroom, the students are getting forced to make their eyes widely open because they know this is my professor who will be going to set the semester question paper. So I am getting forced to make my eyes widely open. It is not their fault. The fault was there, the melatonin who is responsible for that. Post-lunch session, they have a heavy lunch. So the melatonin is taking a grasp over their entire activity. So that's why they have only option to make their eyes widely open. So they will see my silhouette image, but this will not further be processed. This is many times in a conferences also I have suffered the same. Dark room, I have a very heavy lunch, so I feel sleepy. So in that context, how can I make my students energetic? So sometimes I say, dear student, now see, this will be a 20 marks question in your semester. Everybody will be alert. So start writing that. So something will come. So what I did with this? I put a auditory stimulus. So the invention is that in our human brain, there is a portion called suprachiasmatic nucleus. This portion of brain is responsible for two fundamental hormones. Many hormones are there. One is called melatonin, which is a sleep hormone, and one is a cortisol, which will make a rush over activity. What happened? Once I said, this will be a 20 marks question in your semester, through their auditory research, there will be a trigger on the SCN part of the brain, and there will be a rush of cortisol. They will start connecting. This is not a good way every time. So why don't we think about some other route? So that other route, we all know, late 2000 onwards, it has already been investigated. In our eye, in our retina, we have rods and cones, the two fundamental receptors on which all the lighting fraternity is still living with. But there is a third graded cell also. This is called intrinsically photoreceptive ganglion cell. I'm not going to start open that, but this third graded cell, it will only sense the color and intensity of light, and accordingly it will make a balance between two hormones. It is not responsible to see something. It is responsible to make a balance between two hormones. As a result, what happened? So if IPRGC is there, why don't we play with the color and the intensity of the light? That can help me to get rid of this melatonin and cortisol balance. Ma'am was talking about circadian system. That is what we call sleep and wake cycle in a simpler way. Balance between melatonin and cortisol. So there we already have an implanted route, and LED made this thing more magical, because now using LED we can generate any color, we can create any intensity. That is what it's become phenomenal. So now we have this power, we can incorporate into the design. This design concept is called human centric lighting. So that is why this is a very old photograph. It's not old, we all know that. So far, my students in our normal class, once I never talk about the 20 marks question for semester, they have a good visual performance. Their eyes are open in a retina, my picture, the board picture, everything will come, but it will not further be processed because their cognitive performance, human brain activity is less, muscle reaction is less. So that's why only my picture is there in the eye. But if I have to process that picture, I have to trigger this out, and that will go to the human performance. So where only 20 marks question in the semester, that clue will not going to help. That light can change with that. There are a lot of experimentation which has already been performed in 1995. One experiment I want to just tell you one brief. That is a scientist called Kostic and Zokic. They did that in University of Serbia in a call center without informing the stakeholders. Kostic's one of his friend in the Serbia, that call center was running with lot of losses because most of the time the employees were sleeping in the night. So he thought that let me scrap my call center job. So, but on the certain situation, Caustic said that, can you spare 6 more months? I know you are a rich person, 6 more months you incur the loss. After that, I will take care of. So what he did, without informing any of them, they changed the color of the light. In a night shift once started, the employees were start feeling something uncomfortable, light is uncomfortable. They have tried to gossip in midnight, they don't have too much thing to do. They have tried to sleep, they failed, they started working. In after 6 months, the productivity of the call center has suddenly, surprisingly has improved. So that, unfortunately, the result was not good because this was a gross violation of the human ethic without informing the human subject. If we perform some experiment, so that is why Kostic and Zokic, they have been jailed for 1 year. They has been convicted actually because it was a gross violation. But the outcome is that there is a route where the light can play with. The result is human-centric lighting. We all know. But the flip side is that now industry is very much keen to develop a project called light shower. Do you know about the term light shower? Anyone? What is that? This light shower is a very popular term because the light shower is being used, the players, the stakeholders who are traveling all along the globe, they suffer with the different time zone problem. This is what we call jet lag. I'm from one part of this entire space. Once I'll return back, my entire time zone has shifted. So that's why my cycle, this sleep and wake cycle, circadian rhythm has changed. So what else? I don't have too much time to get rid of that. I have just visited United States, then I return back. 12 hours almost. I have a lag. I hardly have 15 days or 1 month to naturally modulate that time. So what else can I do? They are saying you will be placed under exposure of light with a dedicated exposure time and frequency. This thing very easy to say over here, but it is very difficult to implement because all of our requirements are different. So modulation of that, how much frequency I will allow for how much exposure time, this is a critical affair. So if we are not being able to make ourselves educated with that, it will definitely be a disaster in that way. Without informing, without knowing that, without calibrating that, if we start doing this light shower, it can be a disaster. So that is why. The last thing, this is why we have the smart system we are talking about. I was talking about the lighting control protocol where we have fundamental topic like network, physical layer, program, protocol, all should definitely be clear. Because once I know what is called network, what is called physical layer, what is called program or code, and fundamentally we'll develop a protocol or communication method. Today we talk about many more like this. So that is some smart lighting system. We can talk about different protocols we are using. Lastly, the adverse effect of lighting, definitely it's a bigger concern because here we have flicker effect, stroboscopic effect, also the horticulture lighting. This is very important because now artificial agriculture is dominating. Why? Because again, the magical source we have LED with a desired color, desired frequency. We don't need any additional filter. Only by programming that LED, I can get the desired wavelength and the frequency. So that is why, but again, I should definitely educate myself if we talk about this artificial agriculture. Germicidal lamp, it is always a bigger concern for, and solar lighting, soon and later it was very much there. Even in 2010 it was there, but this time it is in a much more aggravated part, more vigorous part. And so that's how I have probably, possibly 10, 15 minutes more I have taken. Pardon me for that. Yes, please. Yeah.
Do we have any standard for the lighting control devices, like the way we have for lighting? Do we have any standard for lighting control devices? What type of?
In our national lighting code, we have talked about the features like once you are going to develop a lighting control system, what are the individual product? That means what are the individual component you need? They will never talk about, say, a controller, how we can specify a controller.
Correct.
But they will say that what is your controller? What is your network? What is your physical layer? So, say for an example, you want to use Ethernet for that purpose, or you want to use IPv6 as a protocol, because now we know the all smart LED color tunable LED bulbs, they are Bluetooth connected and also they are controlled by the internet also. So for that case, we don't have any standard yet. But definitely National Lighting Code have said where the necessity of the standard can be evolved.
Understood.
The device related standardization is yet not done.
Thank you.
Thank you for this patience, for this lecture. Any more question? Okay, thank you.
One question.
Yes, please.
Where do we get the illumination engineer and the electrical engineer
Hmm.
and the architect to come and work together? Very rarely.
I can tell you one answer in Jadavpur University. We have illumination, we have electrical department, and architecture is our next building. So definitely many more projects we can assemble them, we can connect, because unfortunately it is not electrical and illumination is completely mixed. It is very much there, but architect not directly some of the projects we are different. Right, right,
And also artificial lighting
right.
combination comes over. That is in that context. Because
Yeah, I can understand your question. So that is partly have been done, but not
section for lighting and then both daylighting, natural lighting.
natural. Right. Yeah.
National lighting board. We are waiting for today. They have to release. But already I told Arun how that should be worked
Right,
out.
right, right. Yeah, that indoor and outdoor. Yeah. And electrical. True. Yeah, it's very much. Because you know that subject which is not known by to me. Just an example, climatology, which is one of the, which is very much related with the daylight integration.
Say like that. The way you put chapter two.
Yeah. Right, right, right. Right, right, right. That's the modeling part has been little bit. Right. Right, 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 right. That is that part is already being there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those enlightening insights related to lighting and the National Lighting Code. Moving ahead, our next presentation focuses on one of the most essential components of the code, that is interior illumination. I am pleased to invite Ms. Bhavna Kasturia, member of the ETD 49 committee, who has played a key role in shaping the framework for the interior lighting within this code. Ms. Kasturia, a gold medalist in electrical engineering, brings over 34 years of industry experience across multiple domains, including R&D, quality operations, and project management. She is also a certified lead assessor for the quality environment, health and safety, and energy management systems. Over to you, ma'am.
So, thank you for the nice introduction. So, first of all, I'm very much delighted to join this session today along with you, and would like to thank BIS also for inviting me here to take the session. And as far as the National Lighting Code is concerned, I enjoyed working along with many knowledgeable members. And especially, I would like to thank Dr. Shashwati Majumdar and Neha for this thing. And for all the members like Nitish, Dr. Mandal, everybody has contributed a lot, and I enjoyed working with them. So I'm happy to share and I'm not the expert as a lecturer, because I worked in the industry, and it's difficult, very difficult to take the session just after a very good speaker and who talks like in depth all this. But I will straight away share the interior illumination part of the National Lighting Code as a part 5. So, first of all, we learned from previous 2 sessions that why the standards are important. Um, I think they are, it's very difficult to see. I will have to see here only. Maybe the, yeah, that's not a small one. So, why lighting standards matter? I think voice is okay, right? So, matter on the interior illumination, mainly the objective is that first we learned the history also, that earlier we were only talking about the lux level or the lighting, what is there. But now the National Lighting Code, which is evolved, this talks about the safe, comfortable, and the efficient illumination, and more towards the human centric lighting, which we learned a lot from the previous 2 speakers. So mainly, this helps engineers, architects, and vendor design lighting system that are safe, scientifically justified. Then also the uniformity is very important. Like once we are sitting in the interior portion, then the uniformity of the light is very important. Uniformity illumination. This focus on that, and especially the glare control. If we see that sometimes the glares are there, and then how to control those glares are also important by adjusting the illumination level. There you can have not the directly glare in the interior part, especially in the industries. Then also it promotes the efficiency. We talked about the efficiency, energy efficiency. Bureau of Energy Efficiency also launched earlier with the LED bulbs product. I was the part of that committee when we were talking about the star labeling programs on the LED bulb, where itself the bulb is efficient as far as the incandescent light. If we talk about the 100-watt bulb, and it is going to the compact fluorescent lamp as a 15-watt, and then LED bulb equivalent as a 9-watt. And if we were talking about the energy efficiency of these bulbs, we were member along with Signify, and I worked in Osram also for 20 years. So when we were formulating the energy efficiency, we were talking about, that time we were only focusing on the energy efficiency as a star labeling, like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. What can we do with the 3-watt bulb, LED bulb, with the energy star labeling, which itself is efficient? There were many products where we should introduce. So now we are talking about the sustainable, which is as the SDG goals also, which will be now as a focus on the National Lighting Code. And also the interior lighting, where the comfort, health, and productivity and of the occupants is important. Like physiological or the psychological factors are also important nowadays for the comfort where we are working in the interior environments. So interior illumination is not just about brightness, it's about the balance, comfort, and the purpose. So this National Lighting Code, which is now launched today, ensures that every watt of light enhances both performance and the well-being. So just to, although Neha madam has already shared, but the evolution of part 5, how it is started. So just as a brief, that 3646 part 1, which was in the 1966, it was there initially as a standard. And the journey for that, it was only focusing on the maintained illuminance, and also mainly covering on the industrial and the offices space, and minimal focus on the visual comfort and the efficiency as a 3646 standard. Then National Lighting Code, which we learned before that also, that is SP 72 2010, which was evolved as a code, and we learned a lot about there is a difference in the standard and the code. So this is the code of practice which was there in the 2010. It included the parameter like uniformity and also the color rendering, but this was missing on the certain aspects like the sustainability, comfort, human centric lighting, and there were certain new chapters also added in the National Lighting Code recently. Then, sorry, that is the mistake, 3646. Then part 1, which was like revised after around 30 years, although in between it was reaffirmed, but 2025 the 3646 was also revised based on mainly the CIE and then the international global practices. And it was focusing on the industrial, educational, healthcare, and also the commercial. And this focused on the human-centric design principle for comfort and the well-being. So based on this, now the code of practice SP 72 2025, this national lighting code is evolved. So this is the journey of the national lighting code 2025. So the chapters which now I would like to share in detail that what it covers as a part of interior illumination. So it has total 9 sections. So there are total 5 sections which were already there. 4 sections we have added, which is retail premises, art and museum, residential area, and the places of worship. So we discussed few minutes before also that now we are launching this in 2025. Maybe 2035 we will again have to like revisit. So I would be happy to say that we are listening all this, and now it is the journey. We will be going through all this standard. Once the input starts coming, then definitely 2035 will have further addition on these topics. So before I share certain chapters, like all the chapters, 1 or 2 slides each chapter, just as a key enhancement in the indoor lighting features, broaden the applicability, which we already discussed, that it covers the residential buildings, then the hotels, hospitals, the area is expanded, although those were already covered, but this was further extended. And museum, retail space, and the places of worship is added. So broaden the applicability of the 2010 versus 2025. Second is the human centric approach, which we like basically it affects on the psychological and the physiological also. Even that day I was reading somewhere that people who are like the diabetic, especially like sometimes if you have that light in the interior illumination, it also affects your like certain glucose level. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. So yeah, so I was reading that sometimes that people who are diabetic, like sometimes certain lights, if you keep in the night also, that affects which were not knowing earlier when we were having those NLC 2010 or the before. So this journey continues. So whenever such inputs keep on coming, that will be taking care in the further evolvement of the another version of that. So this affects, which talks about the human-centric approach. Adaptive lighting, like integrates automatic dimming and the occupancy sensor, which we were talking that nowadays we talk about that once the person occupancy or the backend sensor or the automatic dimming control in the interior illumination, this is further focused and it is further elaborated in this NLC 2025. And daylight harvesting, nowadays it is clubbed with the national building code also, which is there. Daylight harvesting, whenever you are designing any building, then certain windows or something where you can get the daylight and certain activities you can plan over there, and then the photo sensor is already installed over there which judge that whether it is automatically switching on and off based on your daylight. So that is the daylight harvesting is also focused on this NLC. Then specialized illumination needs. So as we discussed that few chapters are added and some areas are further widened. So in this hospital wards, like if the patient is there, then this is specifically covered in this NLC 2025 as well. Then the patient, when he is relaxing, what type of light will give him more comfort, because then the comfort is also one of the thing which we have learned in the first slide as well, which is focused. Classroom, like the education is the new chapter. So classroom, when the students are sitting, then which area sometimes we know that the 20 by 20 when the eyesight is there, or the 20 by 40, or even some people have 20 by 15. I hope people are already aware of the 20 by 20 when the like the ophthalmologist checks our eyesight, what is meant by 20 by 20, 20 by 40, 20 by 15. So some students who are unable to see that board, particular class board, for that, then it helps in those illumination needs also in the classroom. So that is also defined in the NLC chapter here. Kitchens, lobbies, corridors, guest rooms. So those are the, especially the lux level are especially covered in this. Sustainability, we were talking about the SDG goals, SDG 17, we have to achieve by 2030. So especially the SDG 7 and 13, which is the climate action and the clean energy, that is also focused on the certain chapters. So which I will be covering in the further slides. So emphasis the low glare features, LED adoption and reduced light pollution aligning with National Energy Code. We were discussing ECBC and further, I think with the previous speaker as well already. So again, sorry, this one. So now human-centric lighting, I would like to cover a little bit on this, that mainly the mood lighting we have already discussed, that mainly the during the daytime, when early morning, we expect mainly the cool day light. And then during the evening, then the warmer color will give us more comfort. Or if we go with the any hospitality segment, always at the reception, you find as a like as a comfort and the cozy relaxed environment. So that is the mood lighting. So that topic is also addressed well here as a focus on the human centric lighting. So NLC 2025 emphasized lighting that supports visual performance, mood and the biological health, which we already discussed one of the example as then the circadian rhythm, where the wake and sleep pattern or the melatonin and cortisol, which we already discussed a few minutes before. I hope people are still listening and with me. So that is also the use of tunable white lighting that mimics natural daylight, bright, cool tones, and the daytime and the warm light for the evening. So that is also the better sleep and wake pattern that is also addressed in this. Then the prioritized low glare, balanced brightness and uniform distribution. Sometimes the strain and fatigue because of the high glare in the industrial environment. That is also there. So that chapter is also addressed. Again, the psychological impact, recognize lighting as a tool for emotional balance, which mainly on the hospital lighting, that certain aspects because of the patient is already covered. Dynamic controls, again the sensors, dimmers, and all those as a part of interior illumination. Although with your question that those controls are not there, but yes, the that is in the NLC 2025, those things are already covered, which we answered. So now daylight and controls, smart, responsive and efficient, where the daylight with smart control, like here, which I was sharing the example also. Here, like the sunlight entry. So the buildings are designed like that, where the window is there, that those sensors are working, and app-based like the smart lighting, where you can automatically that sensor will give the signal, and the leftmost diagram where it is clearly automatically switching on and off with respect to those lights. So those chapter are also addressing in the interior illumination. And then wherever the dim light zone, where the occupancy sensor person is there in the meeting room or not, those occupancy sensors, so those chapters are also well covered in the NLC 2025. Now the sustainability, where the green code, ECBC and energy efficiency. So energy efficiency, which we say promotes high efficiency LEDs and efficiency layouts, photo and occupancy sensor, and encourage adaptive lighting. Environmental focus advocates on the low impact and recyclable luminaires, and limits glare and the light pollution, UCR control, UGR control, where the glare control is there. And then the SDG 7 and 13, which I was talking few minutes before, that it covers the clean energy and the climate action. I worked 2.5 years in the automotive industry, MG Motor, where I was, and 20 years after working in Osram, when I entered in the automotive industry, just to share the example, there the paint shop, after the paint shop, when the car comes out and then we start assembling in the general assembly shop, all those cars which are like Hector, Esther, keep on coming in the sequence, they were having the paint elimination, where the quality people are inspecting, and being the lighting person, I was thinking what type of light it is, and they were having this slant like this, one white, one yellow, like with the color temperature. And I was surprised that why we are keeping these two lights, because as application, I was the lighting, yes, I worked in 20 years in Osram working with those committees, but real application in the automotive industry, there they can find the minor defects also with those paints, like minor things. which we can only see with the combination of that warmer color and the cooler color. So there was a fixed pattern over there in the quality section, which was again the inspection specialized, which we learned few minutes before, that the specialized areas. So those type of elimination are also very important, which was the learning in those paint shop as a, and we were struggling and fighting with that small defects so that customer will not get, but that is visible only in those lights. So then the performance metrics, LPD limits per CBC standard, smart metering, which we are now talking about in the solar context also in that, and daylight harvesting, which we already covered. So now this was the generic about that. Now I have a few slides where the each section, like what are the things which we have considered, all those 9 sections. Briefly, we will go through it, although that now the chapter is like code is already out. You will be going through in detail. So industrial lighting, mainly we have mainly the productivity, safety, especially the safety is important in the industry where such lighting in the especially in the highway, like when the warehouses are there, what type of light needs to be installed over there, and also the corridors or any the special application where we need, like the example which we have just now given, that is also important for the work. So those are well addressed in that. So primary objective, provide adequate and uniform illumination for visual accuracy, safety and accident prevention. That is the main part. Safety compliance, again minimize hazard in the workshops where we are foundries and the manufacturing areas. Then visual per sorry. Then yeah. Now okay. So balance brightness prevents glare, reflections or the shadowing. Sometimes you get the reflection and you cannot see that aspects. And visual comfort for the workers and reducing error. Mainly since I also focused on the occupational health and safety, sometimes I have seen that the workers who are working in such areas where it is very difficult for them and it's not noticeable where they are working in that area for a longer duration, mainly the time weighted average for the continuation 8 hours in that area, whether that light is adequate for them for that particular application. So that is also will help in the reducing of errors in the visual performance. And the maintenance factor, industry, it is very important once you install the light, where the IP rating, like if the dust goes and the light is installed at the higher, like the top, that also we need to consider the IP rating aspects and the maintenance factor as well. Because if we need to maintain again and again, then the life is also very important. Whatever luminaire we need to install, that is for the longer life, so that no need of maintaining again and again. So those are the chapters well covered in this National Lighting Code as a part of industry practice. So industrial lighting must balance intensity and comfort, mainly where the glare control angle is also very important. Like if we can see the picture also, uniform brightness zones across a work floor, which is very important for the shielding factor where it is greater than 25-degree. Balanced light ensures safety and precision. So certain aspect like the uniformity ratio, zonal designs, glare control, reflectance values, and the task specific lightings are well covered in the National Lighting Code, where the detailed part is that the minimum, like the average is greater than 0.6 for the consistent visibility across work zone, which is for the uniformity. Then zonal design, again the higher illumination in the precision task areas, and certain area moderate lighting in the storage and other areas are well considered. And luminaires with diffuser or the lowers or shielding angles 25-degree to 45-degree to reduce the direct glare is well defined in the, again, those chapters. So reflectance value is also important, that sometimes the type of building which you are having and the light is reflecting and coming back, sometimes from the tile, sometimes from the ceiling, sometimes from the wall. So that is also important, and it is in conjunction with the National Building Code. So this is again well covered in this NLC document. And task specific, we already covered inspection and the quality control. So high bay, we already discussed. If the ceiling height is greater than 8 meter, use LED high bay luminaires with narrow or the medium beam distribution. And side elevation diagram of a factory is also indicating in the figure, showing highway luminaires with the beam spread. So it indicates wherever the working area or the worker in the this mode or that application which is well covered, and that calculation is also important in the designing aspects. And one more important thing, as a heat and environment resistance, which we talk about, use IP rated and the thermally managed fixture suitable for dust, humidity, and temperature variations in the industrial lighting. So second section is the office lighting. Office lighting, like there is one is the task in the office. Once the task lighting where the task table is there, and the accent lighting where you have only for the certain where task is to be performed, there is a different need. And the accent lighting in the office area where certain sceneries or some other things are to be just highlighted, those are the different things. So those areas are well defined in this, and also the general lighting portion. Visual hierarchy is also one topic which we have covered. Layer, general task, and the accent lighting for the balanced luminance and the clear visibility of faces, work surface, and the circulation paths. That is also important in the case of office lighting especially. Now this we I think already covered in the initial slide, where the photo sensors and the occupancy sensors are defined. So same applies to the office lighting as well. Daylight harvesting, occupancy sensor, zonal control, and the ceiling and wall reflectance. This educational lighting is in the where the purpose is that optimum visibility and comfort for reading and writing. Classroom 150 to 500 lux on work surfaces, higher up to 750 lux for the laboratories or the art rooms. Then uniformity is greater than zero point 0.4 to avoid the patchy lighting, and the eye fatigue is also well defined in this. Color rendering RA greater than 80 for the natural color perception. And if we see the 20 by 20, which I explained few minutes before as an age factor, higher illuminance may be needed for the younger children or the older student with reduced visual acuity. So that is the reduced visual acuity is the, again, it depends on 20 by 40 if somebody has, then we need to consider that also in that, which is covered in the National Lighting Code. So this, I think I've already covered few minutes before, that the board lighting, light direction, contrast and color, maintenance factor, ceiling and wall reflectance is also covered in the educational lighting chapter. Then hospital lighting. As we discussed, precision, comfort and safety is important. Clinical areas where the 500 to 1000 lux and the color rendering greater than 90 for the accurate diagnostic and surgery, such as like operation theater or certain special task area where this is important. Shadow free task lighting for the precision where the operations or the surgery is done. Then patient rooms, warm or the low glare for taking enough rest, that is also covered, and the levels are defined. Dimmable bedside lights for the and taking support rest, that is also well covered. Support zones like where the nurses, stations, corridors, labs, or the emergency and backup lighting, those again the table is covered in this. And the efficiency and hygiene like sealed LED luminaires or the IP rating in the sterilite, where the sterilization or something where the IP rating is important. So those type of luminaires are there in the hospital lighting. So next section is on the hospitality lighting, where the ambient lighting, task lighting, accent lighting, and the decorative lighting. So there is a different need for that. Layered lighting for the ambience, ambient coves or the task service counter, accent where the art features or the decorative chandeliers are there. There are different type of lighting for the depth and warmth is important. Then warm color tone like 2700 or the 3000 Kelvin, mainly in the hospitality segment is there to evoke a cozy or intimate atmosphere. High color rendering, visual comfort, and design harmony. Like lighting should enhance architecture and brand identity. Sometimes in the hospitality segments, it is extremely important to decorate, like the way the hospitality segment, that particular area where it needs focused for that. So architecture or whatever you want to highlight, so there the lighting is different as compared to the other areas in that. So this is for the design harmony. It doesn't mean that sometimes you focus mainly on that where it needs to be highlighted, then people will see only that area which needs to be further highlighted, that needs to be taken care in the hospitality lighting. Then the retail lighting, which is the new chapter, which is added. So this is one, I think there is one error that 1 to 9, there is actually 1 to 10. And there is one table which is clearly mentioned about the lighting guideline. Like the first, if you can see, that is missing here. This one is that at the top, which is the color rendering and the index color temperature. And then the second is the contrast and accent. So this is a matrix which is also covered in that NLC, which gives the guideline for the feature display, general retail, cashier, and the circulation. What this table is for the in the retail chapter.
There are general room, hospital OPD, general visitors,
This type, yeah,
ICU, but not the other,
yeah.
general area, cashier, circulation. So like that, we don't have. I like this table.
Yeah, but it is not in the, you are right, it is not in the other chapter. Maybe this is the, yeah, maybe this is the input for the further, yeah. So this table gives us very good indication as a matrix, but this is not in the other chapter, I think. Yeah, yeah. So then it covers like, no, no, maybe before that. We can see. So it covers about the matrix as a accent highlight or wherever it is important. It gives us the matrix. I will not read this, but this gives us the overall where it is very important, important, and somewhat important. So this table talks about that. Then art and museum, which is again cover as objective is to enhance precisely visual rendering and preservation of artifacts. So here again the purpose where the enhanced viewing, illuminance again general is 100 to 200 lux, then displays is 150 to 300 lux, then sensitive is less than 50 lux with exposure control. Again the lighting sources and control and the comfort and sustainability is covered. Then the residential lighting, it talks about to provide safe, comfortable, and the energy efficient lighting. I hope that nowadays we are in our residence also using lot of smart lighting. We expect that by the time we reaches our home, then everything should be switch on and by app control everything. So now that residential lighting, I think people are also adopting those which were not earlier. So that is well covered in this chapter. So creates warm and the relaxing atmosphere. Layered lighting, ambient task, accent for the visual depth. Again, rendering index is greater than 80 for natural tones and aligned with circadian rhythm, bright days and the soft evenings. Automatically it dims down during the evening. And sometimes people have that exterior, although I will not like exterior part, but sometimes with the pole lighting or all that, those are also covered by the smart lighting. Then dimmer sensor and the tunable LEDs. So places of worship, again the warm ambience, especially like if we talk about the temples, churches or mosque or where we goes, then the warm ambience 2700 to 3000 Kelvin for the serenity and focus. Illuminance, where the altar or the means one is the altar area, one is the dome area, one is the like wherever those areas are there, especially the lux level are covered accordingly. So altar is 300 to 500, general area in the circulation common is 50 to 100. Lighting techniques like indirect accent and decorative lighting to highlight the domes, murals, and the idols. So wherever the idols needs to be highlighted, that is also specifically defined in the National Lighting Code. Then performance, glare-free or uniform, low flicker illumination, efficiency and safety, long life LEDs, dimmers, timers, and the emergency lighting is well covered in that. So these were all about the chapter, and if we conclude on this, like the comprehensive coverage NLC expands beyond workplaces to include industrial, office, educational, healthcare, residential, and hospitality. And human centric is the, which we already discussed, human centric and the sustainable, integrates visual comfort, circadian balance and energy efficiency through smart controls and LED technology. Standardization excellence, where all the factors like the EM, U0, rendering index, UGR, everything is well defined in those chapters, ensuring safety, quality, efficiency in the human centric, which is the four key portions of this national lighting code. Then harmonize with the ECBC 2023 and SDGs also, reinforcing India's net zero energy vision. And then future ready design encourages adaptive sensor based lighting system supporting sustainability and the digital building integration. So this is all about the national lighting code interior illumination from just our side to share. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Correct. Sustainability is also added in 2024. You're right.
Hell of a lot of the on the people of
Actually,
movement.
this is about.
Somebody is having a glaring screen, somebody having white light in this thing, and so it is very it has been at least for senior citizens it has been become very difficult to drive on the road in the night side. So can I don't know whether it can be included in the national lighting code or anything other as you have included in other areas. All other areas have been covered, but this has been excluded. So, will it be covered in this national illumination code or not?
Okay, actually, this was the topic which I was sharing as the interior illumination and the exterior illumination. I don't think we have the separate chapters for the right transport engineering department. Right, transport engineering department. Like this is for the yeah. Because for the automotive lighting, as far as my knowledge, like Neha Madam has already shared. Here I can also answer, but I think VS can answer well. But the point is, there are various committee. You are right, various committee. Like the street lighting comes under the like the luminaires of the outdoor luminaires, which is there. And what you are talking about, there is a separate committee for the automotive standards or the automotive, all the automotive standards. So I hope this part particular is part of maybe that committee purview. Am I correct?
Maybe in the transport department, but whether they are included this subject and these recommendations for automobile lighting, that can be examined and can be recommended to them because that is also affecting the humans too much.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think it's a good input, and as a part of like I don't know, since now I'm associated with BIS also for as a resource person. So wherever any like you are giving the feedback directly also, but if you go to www.bis.gov.in, you can comment as a like person. Anybody can comment in that committee if you open that particular thing, and the technical committee will review what things needs to be further incorporated, but that is a part of definitely in that committee, although you have given the input to BIS, but no, that is a part of different committee.
The lighting fits to a particular area, whereas the automobile lighting is a moving lighting. It will definitely change whenever the ambient will change.
No, like when we were in the part of ETD 23 and 49 also, we used to discuss like the sometimes aircraft lighting, that is different. Similarly, automotive lighting different. So certain topics which are covered in ETD 23 and 49 are different. And there are various different committees for those specialized lighting as far as my knowledge goes. Please, sir.
Scientific fact because it's other way around what we study. It's generally younger children need lesser lighting, and because we're getting into the more lighting, which I was reading one. Then
No,
yes,
sorry.
I
Before that, I can
one
answer that question.
three observations. Third, what I was also realizing is retail. We are talking about still 1500 lux going towards that region of it, which we are talking about more and more. It is seen that it may not be required scientifically in that level of 1500 lux, though it also helps you perceive the colors better, which is another aspect to it. But however, in the real world applications, now we do not go in that direction because of uh, in looking at sustainability and energy conservation onto it. And third, what I also want to ask, maybe I missed that part. How are we considering flicker, which is a big mammoth right now? Also, all the lights are flickering. So how are we? Is that an inclusion into the standard very precisely and mandatory requirement of light fixtures now, or it's still being taken up with some other standard?
Okay, so I think I will answer one by one. So the first is regarding the educational part, which we were discussing. There it is mentioned, like younger children and the age factor, where this was the slide, where it is mentioned visual acuity. And that's what I was talking, that wherever, like the person, if we go, my eyesight is 20 by 20, then if the normal person can see by 20 feet, same thing, and I can also see, then my vision is 20 by 20. Sometimes the person, if it is 20 by 40, if the normal person can see by 40 feet and the other person, it's just a 20 by 40, I'm saying, but a little bit where the people, such people are there, then that type of educational lighting or that aspect is also covered in the NLC by defining suitably. So that was talking about the visual acuity with that factor. It's not that the high like intensity, which was the version which is in the educational room, which is added.
So you're saying that lighting levels may not be required high, but we need to look at the spatial effect of it.
It depends. So those factors also are considered while defining that particular table in the educational lighting.
Okay. Maybe we can read more of the code when
Okay,
released, and
yeah.
we can come back to it. But because uh, younger people need lesser lighting because their pupils are very young. And what happens is if we try and extend the lighting levels, it affects negatively onto the kids, younger kids. So that's the reason, which is I think if it's addressed, probably we'll have to see the tables and look at
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And I think the
Second question was the okay. Third one was the glare, the not glare, the flicker.
flicker. So yeah, so I'm coming to the flicker also. Then what does the National Lighting Code as a code of practice? This gives us like the interior illumination in the various areas, what type of lighting or what type of lux level. Flicker, if we talk about, there may be many reasons because of the flicker. Huh? Yeah, you can also, I think, answer, contribute on that. Because we were the part of same panel, so yeah, Nitish also can. I busy bhi aa jao.
Yeah, so flicker and basically all the temporal lighting effects, other than the phantom effect, are covered under the standard for all the indoor lighting application. The SVM, the objective light flicker, both are covered as per the IEC standards. So it will get addressed. The values, the thresholds have been also defined. So if the system, the products comply to that, you will not be visualizing that flicker effect.
No, but are we enforcing that we must not be specifying or using this kind of fixtures which have flicker, because this is a very, because it's a standard. If it doesn't go there, it doesn't
Okay,
work.
that's a different part what you are asking for. So it's a national lighting code. it's
That's
a,
what I was saying.
an accumulation of knowledge, the best practices, what one should be adopting, which I think Professor Sudarshan
Right.
explained in his initial part. What you are talking about is mandating a regulation to ensure that
Right.
a product performance to a
Correct.
certain level. Now, there are product standards for safety and the performance part. Now, in LED bulb standard, which is about, I think it is about to be printed and published, these both the parameter have anyway been
Yeah.
addressed for the consumers' enhanced visual comfort. The luminaire performance standard is under revision, and definitely we take it as an input, and it will also be suitably addressed. However, in this standard, the values, the threshold values for a better enhanced visual comfort, the values have been already adopted to give a guidance to anyone who is, let's say, referring to the standard. He will be knowing that parameter, its effect on your comfort, and you will be seeking such products, let's say, from and demanding these products from the industry. So that part has been addressed.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your valuable presentation and for highlighting the importance of the interior lighting. As we step outdoors, lighting continues to define not just aesthetics but also safety, visibility, and sustainability. For our final presentation, I am delighted to invite Sri Srikant T. Panse, member ETD 49 committee, to share his insights on the foundation of National Lighting Code, that is the outdoor lighting. Sri Fanse is a distinguished lighting professional with over 35 years of experience in architectural lighting, application engineering, and photometry. He has been associated with Philips, now Signify, for over 17 years and currently serves as the National Application Specialist for the Indian subcontinent, overseeing lighting initiatives across India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Like professor had a very tough uh, task of keeping cortisol level high. I am also having the same tough task because this is going to be the last presentation. Maybe people are thinking of what is the traffic on the road and how at what time I will reach and etc. So I will try to keep it simple and quick. We will talk of outdoor lighting. We have initially covered that, what are the different areas we have considered added in this particular national lighting code. So I will not talk on everything, but three major important subject of outdoor lighting. That is, one is for road lighting, sports lighting, and tunnel lighting. Why we have selected these three very important subject here? Because we have seen lot of infrastructure development in last 10 years. Huge. What we were seeing earlier, compared to that, the infrastructure development is very, very high. So even though we have added lot many other, you can say, application areas, but particularly road lighting, what is the concept, how it has been evolved, what is the evaluation method is. The tunnel lighting is a new chapter added in this particular code. And of course, we'll touch upon sports lighting. The application areas that are covered in National Lighting Code are most of the like MRTS utility areas has been there, but four important areas that have been added is, one is for that facade or decorative lighting. We were having one decorative lighting stuff, but now it is been separated into two parts. One is called landscape lighting, one is called facade and decorative lighting. In addition to that, we have got very important subject of signage lighting, high mass lighting, and aviation obstruction lighting. We have added into that. Now, role of street lighting, if you see,
how it has evolved over the over the years, or you can say so many years. Initially between 30 to 50, we were thinking of it is only the safety of the drivers or the safety on the road. Then we started talking of comfort. Then we also started talking of pedestrian safety. And 2000 onwards, where we talk of the urbanization is or taking very at a very fast pace, we started talking of city livability. In addition to that, if you see the we have seen the rapid, or I can say huge development, like in street lighting from for the technological advancement, you can say from mercury to son, we have seen son to sonti, etc. We have seen son means is the basically sodium vapor lamp. And with you can say introduction of LEDs in outdoor lighting, there has been a massive change. I still remember when this first 2010 the NLC was being published. We were not having LEDs being used to that extent. Even I remember consultants were, they were reluctant. Even for this 2 by 2, no, no, big consultants, they said, ये ट्यूबलाइट के बजाय ये लगाएगा कैसा होगा, 4 ट्यूबलाइट कंट्रोल करना ठीक है, यहाँ पे कितना लाइट ये है, ऑल दोस थिंग्स वेर हैपनिंग. But lighting industry has done such a marvelous job that we have shifted to LED, and the graph has been exponential. The use of light emitting diode has been exponential, and that is how we have reduced the consumption of energy. And but at the same time, there has been different effects. And in this particular lighting code, we need to address that effect, that we have shifted from normal conventional lighting to LED, and we need to address that. In addition to that, we also have the control, to manage, monitor, and street lighting installation. Now, before I go and talk, endlessly on this topic, I request you, we will do one experiment, okay, so that we all are, engaged in this particular thing. Uh, because see, everybody uses street light, right? Everybody uses light. I used to remember my boss used to say, ki, the life on earth is possible is because of light. Every day, every minute, every second of our life, we are bombarded by life. We bathe in light. So people may think it is a very simple subject, but everyone is influenced by this particular subject, by light. So what I want that this experience to do, that let us concentrate, have a look at the few slides which I am showing. बाद में बात करेंगे. These are the slides of lighting, road lighting installation. ये है when we were using sodium vapor lamps on TPI, very nice light distribution, big, major roads when it was sodium vapor, and this one is LED. I want you to just register these images in your mind. और कुछ नहीं करना है, बस ये हमारे दिमाग में ये इमेज रखनी है और कुछ नहीं है. ओके, पहले 2 सोडियम की थी, ये LED की है. Okay, 2 more, very nice light, very, you can say uniform, bright light. Now, हो गया? You're registering that, na? Those images. Oh, correct. Now, tell me why these images, we feel they are good. What is influencing us? हमें वो image में क्या influence कर रहा है? You will see the amount of light on the road. You will see the spread of light on the road. Right? Nice spread. You will see that, yeah, there is no glare. I don't feel, it's very comfortable for me to drive. Right? You will also see something which is beyond the road. So you can say something beyond the road that you are able to see. With this, I can say the overall light on the road is very nice. So I am able to spot if there is any dark spot or if there is any obstacle. If I see the lane wise also I am able to see the light very properly if I am on the road, right? So longitudinal as well as overall. Okay. So in a way, I say the factors, these are the factors which are influencing our vision. Our vision means the person who is using that particular area, whether it is a child or an old age fellow, a driver or a pedestrian or everything, whoever is using that particular area. So what is that creating such a beautiful ambience over there? The factors that are influencing to create such results are very simple. Illuminance, right? Amount of light which is falling on the road. At from what height you are throwing that particular light on the road, right? And of course, efficacy. Everybody talks of efficient lighting, efficient lighting, efficient lighting. We have got big codes, ECBC, ECSBC, etc., etc., etc. All these sorts. So energy efficiency to hona hi hai, correct? So all these factors have been incorporated, which has resulted in giving me that particular kind of effect for which those images are registered in my mind, right? Okay, so we are aware of this particular thing. Light acha gira hai, ye hai, wo hai. Now, let us see this particular thing. Everything is same. Amount of light is also very same. Maybe same earlier इसमें 40 lux था, इसमें भी 40 lux है. Efficacy, I am using much more efficient luminaire. Much more efficient luminaire, but still something is missing, don't you feel? ये मेरा register नहीं हो रहा है. I am using everything same. Amount of light is same. Everything is same. अच्छा, आपको लगा ये फोटो ना जो ऊपर से ली हुई है ना, थोड़ा ऐसा बर्ड साई व्यू लग रहा है, तो मैं नीचे जाता हूँ एज अ मोटरिस्ट को क्या दिखता है, ये देखो ये ऐसा दिखता है. यू कैन सी इधर मार्कर, ये मार्कर है, ऐसा मार्कर है क्या? नहीं, अच्छा पॉइंटर है ना, यही है ना. हाँ, so here you can see there are this photograph I have taken, while sitting in a car. While sitting in a car, I have taken. So you can see a bright spots in between. You can see the bright spots somewhere, dark spots, etc. So that is what is, the issue, and that is what is thinking that okay, my lighting is efficient, सब कुछ same है, लेकिन effective नहीं है. See, this is the difference. You have to be effective and not efficient only, right? सवेरे हम बात रहे थे कि only taking more lumen out of that one, small watt, etc., is not sufficient, but how we are distributing is important. And that is where the importance of this particular thing comes into the picture, where we are shifting and we are talking of, in this particular lighting code, is not the light, but the reflected light. Here also I see in one picture on the corner, that side, you will see there are, particularly zebra effect. It will be very difficult for me to identify if there is any pothole in that particular thing. And potholes are very common in some part of our country. Delhi में तो अच्छे road hai. When I go there, and it's a very difficult road. Similarly, if that white road, if you see, I have hardly any light on that another lane. I have got very good light when I am driving very close to the pole, whereas other places it is not there. Right? So these things are very important. Uniform light nahi hai, overall bhi nahi, ye bhi nahi hai. And when it becomes LED, you shift from conventional to LED. This is very important, because very difficult to control LED. Iska jo impact, iska jo punch hai, it's very difficult. And if you have that punch, you will have that bright spot. So no matter your, how efficient your luminaire is, but your optics has to be very important, and the light source plays very important role. And here we talk of luminance. That is the amount of light which is reflected back from the surface, reaching to my eye and creating visual sensation. This is what is important. See, पहले इसमें जो हम देख रहे थे कि earlier you can say in NLC also 2010 we were talking of amount of light, how much I need. IS 1944 talks only 4 categories: 8 lux, 10 lux or 15 lux and 30 lux, 4 lux, etc. But all those is the light, that is amount of light which is falling on a surface, where here we are talking of amount of light which is coming back and reaching our eye towards a place. So one is the cause, amount of light, and one is the effect. Now we are shifting, this is a shift. सवेरे नेताजी और जो आए थे उन्होंने कहा था माइंड सेट हमें चेंज करना चाहिए. And believe me, I thank some of the very seniors in our industry who have supported during our meeting. Nitish is there, Neha is there. So, we have supported these changes that we should shift from cause to effect. We should shift from this measurement. And we are shifting and we are talking of this luminance level, that effect measurement that we need to talk, because this is very important. This is little bit technical. I will not dwell into that, but I can tell you if the contrast is negative, your detection of an obstacle is very clear. So a very important, subject in National Lighting Code we are talking of, we have dealt with, is the luminance part of it, the amount of light that we should be able to measure and evaluate the road surfaces. In road lighting, we are not only limited to that A category road where I showed you, big roads and etc. But we also tackled the industry road, township road, the complex areas, junctions, from road you come to the service road and junctions are there. So what kind of light is required over there? How much amount of light is required there? So we have dealt with that, and there we remain with illuminance as the criteria, because it is, those complex areas. Illuminance is one thing which is very easy to calculate and people are used to it. And the speed and the movement of people is different. Interaction is different. Whereas in other cases, my movement is very high. Motorist travel. He's driving at a speed of 60 km plus, etc. So here we have got illumination criteria continued. Also, we talked of residential and pedestrian lighting, how much light is required, and that has been covered in this particular thing. So in addition to this, the National Lighting Code gives guidance to the people. I thank Professor Suddha Sattva for extremely beautifully explaining the difference between code practices and standardization. So this is very something important. We are giving that particular guidelines very clearly. We are here talking of guidelines, how you classify the road, how you classify with respect to Indian Road Congress. See, we cannot do everything individually. It has to be a collective effort. So what IRC talks, we have given the classification, we are talking of lighting class as well. And luminaire classification characteristics are also been addressed in this particular lighting code. We talk of optics, smart lighting, and as earlier D has touched upon, is we talk of how much light is getting into the environment, whether we are really polluting it or we are maintaining those dark sky kind of environment on all. So these are the guidelines which, apart from the major changes or in concept, we are keeping it and we are giving this. And we are also talking of luminaire classification and optics, which is very, very critical. See, I always feel light comes out of a luminaire. So luminaire is an equipment. This is a very important part. Sometimes we really, treat it very casually. So which we should not do it. So very important particular criteria, not only for road lighting, but for tunnel lighting application also. See, equipment, आपने देखा होगा. See, I will just take you one example. Everybody knows Sachin Tendulkar, correct? In this hall, everybody knows Sachin Tendulkar, everybody knows Virat Kohli, correct? I have seen many videos how they take care of their cricket bat. They will खुद पॉलिश करेंगे, कम होगा, वेट कितना होगा, ये होगा. सी उन्हें मालूम है कि वो बैट लेके मुझे परफॉर्म करना है. So same kind of passion should be there when you are selecting a luminaire, because that luminaire is giving you the effect. That is what I would say. So the equipment, not only in road lighting, but other places also, is very important. And we are given in this National Lighting Code that what kind of features you should look in that particular thing. And the new chapter, what we have introduced over here is tunnel lighting. See, tunnel lighting is a subject, it's not new. When I was a sales executive 30 years back, I knew the theory. Everybody knew the theory. सब theory मालूम है. But in last 8-10 years, we in India, because of this huge infrastructure development, we are able to practice it. And that is where we have thought of introducing these, tunnel and underpasses as a subject in this particular code. Very, very important. And we should notice what is the tunnel lighting principle. सी इट इज़ वेरी सिंपल. मैं एक जगह से ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ 60 किलोमीटर पर आवर के हिसाब से ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ या 100 किलोमीटर के हिसाब से ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ. आई शुड कम, आई शुड एंटर, आई शुड पास and I should go out of this particular tunnel without any disturbances. It is as simple as that. Simple objective for any tunnel. So that is the basic principle on this tunnel lighting is has to be designed and has to be worked, which is we are taking care of. I am giving you one nice example. जैसे पहले हमने example लिया था. Keep this, photographs, sir, also in this mind. This is a small underpass. अच्छा दिख रहा है. You can, मतलब I showed to this photograph to my colleague. उसने बोला अरे यार सीलिंग की ट्रीटमेंट कितनी अच्छी लग रही है. It looks like इंटीरियर का एरिया है. Very nice, very underpass, अच्छा है, कर्व है, सब दिख रहा है, nicely done interiors, walls and road, everything illuminated, comfortable, visual field है, सब दिख रहा है, fantastic. But the same area during daytime, you don't know what is there inside. You are not able to find out कि सामने से कोई गाड़ी आ भी रही है. Exactly, and that is the difference between the tunnel lighting, normal tunnel lighting, and other things. Because during road lighting, night time, you put a particular lighting level. In case of tunnel, during day, you need much, much more luminance level than what you have in night. So that is very, very critical, and we need to treat them equally, and we need to do that. We should avoid having any black hole effect. Similar thing. So an NLC touch upon that, how you avoid this black hole effect. जो थियरी हमने स्टडी की हुई है कि कैसा ट्रांजिशन होना चाहिए, कौन से जोन है, दैट वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ. एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट हियर वी से दैट, जैसे प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा कि आवर आई रिस्पॉन्स, तो आवर रिस्पॉन्स टू द एनवायरमेंट, राइट. Now when you are entering, you take certain amount of time to respond to night to find out कि भाई मेरे अंदर क्या है, right. So that exponential acclimatization of our eye to the rest of the area is very, very important, and accordingly we need to develop the lighting. Of course, so what we need, the quality aspect of tunnel lighting we have taken care of. This is the photograph of recently inaugurated tunnel in Maharashtra by Chief Minister, Samruddhi Tunnel, the road from Mumbai to Nagpur. It's 800-kilometer road. Out of that, near Nasik, Igatpuri, this tunnel has been done. And that's the photograph I have used it. We did it. So what we talk of here, aspect of tunnel, amount of light on road, amount of light on wall, then how it is, human response का है वो हमें देखना चाहिए. We need to design it for the worst climatic conditions. Just because tunnel is covered, that doesn't mean कि अंदर का रोड गीला नहीं होगा. वो अंदर का रोड गीला होगा. So we need to consider that and design for that. And also we need to find out how are we going to maintain those luminaires. Where are we going to mount the luminaires? There are many places I see people are mounting the luminaires exactly on top of the lane. अरे भाई वो लुमिनर अगर चेंज करना है तो क्या मैं रोड बंद करूं एक लेन जहां पे 80 किलोमीटर पर आवर से लोग जा रहे हैं? You cannot do that. So these kind of thing aspects we have done. Some of the examples of good lighting of tunnel. So which is happening, जो पहले theory था, it has become a practical and we are doing it. I have just a small video of the same tunnel what I have shown you. You can see. So this is what, no sound I know, because इट इज नॉट डन बाय प्रोफेशनल. वो जो काम कर रहे हैं तो उनका आवाज आ रहेगा, अरे वो वहां पर ये चालू है, वो इलेक्ट्रिकल सब स्टेशन का वो गेट बंद करो, वो सब ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ वर्ड्स बी देयर. सो आई आस्क्ड यू नॉट टू यूज दैट. But you see, everything is clearly visible. You are entering into an area which is known to your eyes. This is how you do it, right? Today it is the widest tunnel and the longest. This is 8 kilometer tunnel on both side. 8 kilometer both side, and it is width is also close to 18 meters. One tube. So you can imagine. So we'll shift to. Since yes, there is emergency. There has to be there. And code also talks of how much light you should provide in case of failures. So it is not only the power, but also if there is a total breakdown, how much light you should be there from the it is there in the code, etc. So the last few slides, sports lighting, we are talking of sports lighting. Everybody knows. Uh, National Lighting Code talks of the criteria, requirement, and design what we should take care of when anybody who wants to design the sports lighting. This is particularly for non-televised event, not for the televised event, because most of the televised events like cricket, football, hockey, international federations have their own standards. So we don't want to incorporate that. Some guidance, basic guidance is already given, but what is important over here is that we are given the classification of games, how you classify, what is the level of play, what is the type of play. We need to see and we need to work accordingly. And as I said, ma'am, that every new entrant has to look at this and do that. I have seen people designing for a cricket stadium like they are designing for a port. Only because we are talking of only horizontal lighting. But you need to understand what is the aerial sport, what is the ground sport, and accordingly we need to design. Guide has given that. Unfortunately, we refer our book, sorry sir, but only to know the values. Honestly, 35 years I have seen so many people, अरे ये वो एसपी 72 में कितना दिया है, नो 300 लक्स दिया है, नो IS 3646 से पास 500 लक्स. You are referring to that only for the values. No sir, no. Read it. Guide provides lot many things. I will certainly say that in our new workshop also we will tell them there is much more information for a person. If you want to design event, you can get it from that particular thing. Type of play, what is the classes of play, because it depends. We are giving these three classes is given over here. We need to look at different things apart from the last that table. We need to really design and understand that. So that information has been provided. So I have touched upon mainly these three aspects of outdoor lighting: road, tunnel, and sports, which are very good. 12 sections are there. Yeah, I know. I have covered three because most of the others have already been covered. That is security lighting, MRTS, which was already there in 2010. There has been only the addition or few something things which is not much, I would say. Um,
But high mass lighting, sir, not only
yeah,
in sports area, this is international. But even high mass lighting is coming off like transport.
yeah. Traffic intersection, mostly on the toll plaza, you will find that it is covered. Yes, it is covered. It is covered mainly for that. I have taken these particular things because tunnel lighting is though theoretically known, but the concept is new. Road lighting, because for category A roads, we need to shift to the concept of reflected component of a light, right? Because that is what is. We need to see what is effect. We need to evaluate what is effect and not just the cause. So that is, a huge change we are shifting. See, developed part of the world, if you see, they were referring to this luminance concept for ages. It's not new. Somehow we are not able to incorporate for some reason over here till now. But we said that when I started, I was talking of 30 lakhs. I will get retired, I will still talk of 30 lakhs. When are we going to change? And today, this is the ideal thing where I was so happy to see today, morning session. I say that people are talking of, we are in, as good as international standards. BI is as good as international standards. Our dignitaries are talking about mindset change. This is what we are talking of, and this is the best time. This is the place we have introduced. We should introduce this kind of concept, which are going to be definitely help everyone over here. So um, with this, yeah.
The level of development of countries, US, Europe, various. Now, I think it's also now being measured with the type of night shots of all the cities over there,
Yeah.
over there. So that means predominant outdoor lighting that you open out for that, or you get that particular effect of light.
Probably, no, I will tell you.
Satellite,
Satellite,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
lights over there in the night, how it look. It show the most prosperous country, less prosperous.
Actually, if I look at it, those particular, if I take Europe, very small,
Yeah.
very small. Compared to that, our country is so big. Will be 10 countries of Europe in one country.
Yeah, we are
So if it's subcontinent actually. So probably we may not see, if I'm going to see like a Spain, maybe say Netherlands over here, but I will have 10 Netherlands in India. So maybe it will look different way things. But yes, we need to consider these. We are talking of many other changes like blue light scatters more. So in street lighting, we are talking of more of a, warm light. In this also, yeah, warm light, 4K light. I will just give you one small example, sir, since I will not take it's 30 seconds only. I was in one of the tunnel measuring lighting level requirement last week. Okay. And the color which is required in that particular tunnel is such a color. It is a natural neutral daylight color. And we were here particular thing, and there was a mock-up was chal raha tha wahan pe. And the light, it was an entrance kind of thing, and we were other part of it. We measured a particular thing. And the quality of light was such, हमें लगा यार वो बीच में वो कट है क्या, इज इट ओपन टू स्काई, दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग हमें लगा, हाँ हमें लगा. एंड देन वी वेंट फॉर मेजर फर्दर. अरे नहीं, दिस इज द लाइट व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग. यू कैन सी द luminaire, the equipment which is used, having such a nice color CCT, that from a distance of almost you can say 800 meters we felt कि वो natural light है, वहाँ पे open है क्या, वो ऐसा लगा. So that kind of a thing we like that. And I'm saying, sir, and since you are asked for the development, stadiums and sports lighting, so many have been done. Matlab, in last 8 to 10 years, I myself have been associated with more than 50 stadiums. I'm honestly taking more than 50. This is, please.
Between the luminance which is given by the light and the luminance which is perceived on the left. We never used to worry at that luminance level, but illuminance level we cover that.
Yes.
How do we try to bridge the gap?
Breathe. See, two people, two things we need to do that. We are going with this particular thing at different workshops and body, where we are creating the awareness, where BIS is helping us and talking of luminance instead of illuminance, particularly for the road lighting installation, so that we get particular thing. As far as indoor lighting and other these kind of lights are concerned, source lighting concerned, we are going ahead with illuminance because because illuminance here, the amount of light is very high. In road lighting, the lighting level is what, 30 lux, 40 lux, 80 lux. It's not even 100 lux. And when I come to office, 500 lux. So जो आपका जो खेल है ना, वो 30-40 लक्स में है एडजस्ट करने के लिए. तो वहां पे यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल. दैट्स द रीजन वी आर गोइंग टू दैट पर्टिकुलर मिक्स. एम आई राइट निशीश? बिकॉज इनसाइड में you are, when I go for this cricket on pitch, I need 3000 lux. Towards camera, I need 2500 lux towards camera. And on boundary, I need 1000 lux towards camera. So where is 1000 lux and where is 40 lux? So that is why it's more critical, where we are more And our secondly, our what is our work surface? On road lighting, my work surface is our road, because that is what is important. I need to see that. In sports lighting, I need to see what is happening, from where the object is coming, ball कहाँ से आ रहा है, मैं कहाँ से खेल रहा हूँ, सामने वाला क्या दे रहा है, whoever is this. So that's why in road lighting, most of the cases or tunnels, we talk of luminance, and other areas where the lighting level is very high, we talk of illuminance. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Yeah. Road lighting temperature means we have not, see, national lighting code will not standardize, as professor has said. We will give the guidance. We will say that if you go to that lower level of thing, you are more comfortable, you are more closer, and it helps you to achieve your that dark sky things, right?
But
Ah.
again,
But
what
we are
about
used to
No,
5700
in
so much.
IS 195, just interrupting, IS 1944, where we have walked with the different classes of roads, we have divided, and at each classes, as we have already mentioned, the different light level, luminance or illuminance, we have mentioned the uniformity also. There, the color temperature range, we have also already mentioned. But yeah, different classes of road. That is the different IFC class. So here, but for national lighting code, we haven't used that in this way CCT range. But IS 1944, the new version, you will be going to get it.
sure? So you're pointing to that
Yeah.
in that, but okay. And the second thing is because it's also affecting biodiversity for us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More and more awareness is coming globally, which is we need to switch to warmer color temperatures to let the, we've talked about human centric, I know,
Yeah.
at a point, but we have to talk about other biodiversity as well,
Right.
which is we are causing a mammoth havoc for the entire biodiversity by using about 6,000 and 5,000 Kelvin, which is there. All over the world, it's been aware, understood, and I would definitely suggest that there should be some pointing, because this becomes a code and people will refer it.
Yeah.
I think we need to deviate.
No.
And the other question which I also want to ask is, how would we measure luminance at road? That is the other, we don't have tools for it right now.
No, we have.
Okay.
We have. Me, my colleague, I said, we were measuring the luminance in the tunnel last week. Luminance meters are available. Luminance meter are available. I used it in 1995.
But-
Don't worry.
But,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what happens is internationally when we do, we take the road part, we take the reflectance of that, and then calculate, and then reach to the answers. But
Yeah.
here,
No,
who's
no.
going to do that?
No.
I'll just address both of your points. See, the first part where I think Mr. V. Suresh also talked about how you see the Earth from satellite. Being a supporter of sustainability, I definitely will not recommend measuring the development based on more illumination of your cities in the night. You must have that infrastructure available, but you should be using it smartly. And a country like us definitely are not having that liberty to illuminate all the highways all the time. Definitely, it is a much of a requirement. Our transport minister always says that we are consuming almost 16 to 17% of cost in the transportation, and it is definitely a hindrance to compete with the developed economies and our neighboring countries also. Now we want to reduce it to maybe 7 to 8%. How we are going to do it? We have to increase the speed of transportation and at the same time to make them safer. We definitely need to illuminate those expressways and highways, but with smart controls. Somebody talked about the controls part also. So those controls will illuminate as and when the vehicular movement is enough to switch on at the highest level, dim down when the lighting level requirement is lesser, because all these categorization of road is based on the vehicular density and the speed of movement. Definitely vehicles have their own headlamps, but to see the relative position of different cars in different lane when they are moving at such a high speed of 100 or 120, you need to have that peripheral vision to sense the distance and the movement of other vehicle to drive safely. Now coming to
Yeah, just before you go to second question, I want to add what if he's listening, was it?
Mr. Vishudesh.
Yeah, Mr. Suresh. Mr. Suresh, yeah. Just before he goes to second question, what I want to also add over here, that when you are trying to lower the illumination level, or lower the lighting load, we are not interested in reducing the illumination level. What we are talking over here is that whatever illumination you are doing it, from that illumination, what are you getting it? So that is a major shift. So from 40, 50 lux also I am able to get 3 candela per meter square, which is very uniform. Or otherwise, even if I put 100 lux, but I still have bright and dark patches. So in spite of spending money, in spite of spending energy cost, I am not getting that particular effect. So the development, what if you ask me, I am very small, compared to you, very and less. Even the experience is also yours. But what I feel really key development is that how we have developed, like we were talking of a particular road lighting where you have got a very bright and dark patches, etc., etc. I am spending the same amount of money. Now I will spend the same amount of money, but I do it wisely. That I would consider it as a development, and that is the major shift we are going for that. Now
Yeah,
over
your
to
second question about the dark sky condition, it is duly addressed in the standard.
standard.
It has been talked about, and basically the code and the outdoor lighting standard that is almost about to be published soon. There is a firm recommendation to limit the outdoor light fixture color temperature to 4000 Kelvin,
Kelvin.
because you rightly pointed out that parameter, because when we go to higher CCTs, it is the blue light emission that we are increasing,
And it
which is
scatters.
scattered, and that's why we see the blue
In-
sky.
it-
So it
it's
is very much
it's
recommended
it's a
there.
good start, but
Yeah.
I would like to see it at 1800 and 2000 Kelvin,
Yeah,
which is
so I think
more.
everything is justified based on the cost dynamics and the economical impact. Why LEDs in the outdoor were more cooler initially, because of the higher efficiency that you were achieving in the CCT, higher CCT. But now we are even having in the mid range 3000 to 4000, we are able to achieve equal efficiency. So for a country to move from unlit to lit, I think it's a balance between the environmental impact and human need and the economical need, I would say. If the 1800 CCT also is able to achieve the similar kind of efficiency, definitely industry would be ready to offer it, and consultant community and the end
Authorities
consumer
also.
definitely would be able to accept it.
I think 3000 was great. We did street lighting for Aerocity, the entire Aerocity. That was ahead of time, which is about 15 years back at 3000. And I've always heard good things about it. And it was also, I had a drive against a lot of issues, that why are we using 3000. That was at that time, it was about 5-7% less efficient as compared to 4000 or 5000 which was available. Same goes with tunnel lighting also. But at the same time, what is happening is, definitely till 2700 Kelvin with the right quality. And of course, we don't need to go to CRI 80 or 90 on streets. We need to stick to CRI 70. We are able to achieve very, I would say not more than about 1 or 2% differential between LEDs, what are available now between them. So it's available. Of course, I think it's a good initiative to at least reach at 4000.
Yeah, so 4000 is the threshold that we have kept. It can be 2000,
can be
it can
2000.
be 2300, it can be 2500. Yeah. So
And-
it's a starting point. Even that shift from 6500 Kelvin to cap it at 4000, definitely people are going to ask question that why we are going. So definitely people have their own perceptions. Many people like to go with only cool light because they see that cool light is in their homes, but that's not the light designed for the outdoor environment. So sometimes what use in your houses is not meant for the outdoor application. So that mind shift will also take some time to switch to. And coming to the last part, your measurement, I think luminance measurement is also addressed in the
IS.
this NLC as well as the IS 1944, that how luminance has to be evaluated, because unless we set the evaluation methodology, you cannot compare the results. So that has been also addressed here.
So there we have, yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. How do you measure and what you measure? Right.
Sir, one more thing, I think for specific to the biodiversity, sure in coastal areas and biogeological parks, we are already installing the lights with monochromatic colors, which is near to 2200 Kelvin. I think this is standard practice in all such areas.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Sometimes with the street lights, it may also appear, but not monochromatic right now because they are the color issues will come, CRI will be coming. But this is already being done in our laboratory, one experiment with that. So in this way.
So full. Mhm. Sure.
So if we change special, if we install separate lighting for winter seasons, that monochromatic lights will avoid the accidents. So next, from next within next 10 years, I think this will be all the people will
As
think
a,
over it.
Simply says that if you the challenge between the monochromatic light, I would say we've gone with sodium vapor, gone away. I think we should stay away now, because what happens is the eye works much better at a full spectrum, which is what, and also it allows us, we should internationally what we are doing is, if I am using a more than 70 CRI, I can reduce the lighting level by about 20%. That's code itself says, very simply. So it helps in the outdoor lighting to bring down the lighting levels. Also, biodiversity, everything is supported, as well as the reflected light. And we don't see shining India from the top, but it's better to not to be seen like that.
actually, you very well said, sir. And basically, we are working on the national program. So in this case, we have to be slightly logical in terms of defining the guidelines. The next, as an individual organization, we have done a lot of work for specifically for zebra crossings. We wish that zebra crossing should be very precisely addressed in terms of to take care of pedestrian during the night time. And I mean, project-wise and specific customer requirement-wise, lighting industry and standardizations are all aligned to work together. And slowly we will incorporate everything into the system.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for the insightful presentation on the outdoor lighting practices and all the participants for their keen interest and thoughtful engagement. Maharaj, sir, would you like to say something?
I can now understand that how important this publication is, and I can see from the enthusiasm that at least we could revise it. Thanks to ETD 49 and experts who were here and who could not make it to this workshop. But what I find, because as a head of electrotechnical department, I sometimes, people talk to me, give their remarks and feedbacks, and they say, "What is there in National Lighting Code? इसमें है क्या?" And it is more academic. इसको पिछली बार जब लिखा गया था, ज़्यादा जैसे students पढ़ते हैं उसी तरीके से लिखा गया था. It's not for the professionals. उसको थोड़ा सा ये नहीं है, इसमें data नहीं है, information नहीं है. Good that Fancy said people look for data only in codes, and good that Sudha Sattva sir said that we should approach codes from a learning perspective, so that we can think about how we can design things and what are the critical factors that must be taken into consideration. So I can now, with a lot of a sense of appreciation, I can say that the National Lighting Code has really done justice to all these demands. As sir was actually highlighting, I saw you in that Elcoma conference. You are a lighting designer. I just don't remember your name, but okay. So thank you for coming and being a part of this discussion. I really appreciate, because when we were finalizing this document, I was always talking to Nitish ji or Amal ji and other people ki how can we associate lighting designers to contribute to this NLC so it becomes a very good reference document. And I'm really happy to see that so many people have come together, conversed. Even Suresh sir, being a veteran in this area of standardization, he has also taken keen interest in going through this. So I think the kind of enthusiasm and motivation it has generated in this 3 hours of discussion uh, gives a lot of satisfaction to all of us who have worked really hard to bring this publication out. And on one aspect, sir, you are talking about automobile lighting. Initially, we planned to cover it, but as sir was explaining, that Mr. Gambhir was saying that NLC is broadly focused on lighting as a source of illumination, which is stationary, not mobile. And second is that when a vehicle is moving with its lights on, and you have your tunnel lights and everything, then there is what you said, illumination, illuminance. What kind of interference that takes place and how it is going to affect the visual perception of the driver. All those technicalities, perhaps we don't have the expertise in ETD 49 to put into that. So we decided not to do this part because we will not be able to do justice to this. So since this publication is widely anticipated and people were looking up to these kind of codes to seek guidance and to learn and to practice things, so we did not want to be a false lamppost guiding people in a different direction when we are not confident whether that is the right direction or not. So we refrained from doing this. Even there is one subject which we had to take up for development of standards on drone lighting. Also, I said, let us not do that because that is not our area to focus upon. So thanks a lot for your enthusiasm. And now I would hand it back to Nitish for the last proceedings of this workshop. And I assure you that the workshops that we are planning to hold hereinafter across the country for dissemination of this information and to engage with other users, stakeholders, I think National Lighting Code would be a great success. And before one more thing I just wanted to say, because I had a lot of interest in bringing out this National Lighting Code since I joined ETD. So I propose that all the experts and the enthusiasts, the lighting designers who are present here, to join us for a photograph at the corner. We have a place so you can hold the National Lighting Code. We do not have enough copies to be given to you. So just to reflect our enthusiasm and appreciation for this publication. After this session, I request you all to join us there for photograph. We plan to make it a collage and then share it on the media. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable insights. I would now like to invite Ms. Neha Agarwal to deliver the key takeaways and the resolutions as an outcome of this workshop. Over to you, ma'am.
So thank you, Nitish, for inviting me again for presenting key takeaways and resolutions. So today's workshop, I guess, served as a vital platform for sharing insights on promoting good lighting practices. Across the country, the discussion highlighted that the revised code provides a comprehensive and forward-looking framework aligned with advancements in technology, smart controls, and sustainability. It emphasizes energy efficiency, visual comfort, safety, and environmental responsibility through its structured 16 parts covering design, principle, application, and controls. The session on indoor illumination underscored the importance of human centric lighting, that enhances well-being, productivity, and energy performance through intelligent controls and quality design parameters. The session on outdoor lighting focused on efficient and environmental friendly lighting practices, minimizing glare, light pollution, while ensuring safety and visual comfort in public spaces. Overall, this workshop reinforced that lighting is a key enabler of sustainable development, and National Lighting Code of India 2025 provide a robust framework for transforming India's lighting landscape through collaboration, innovative and widespread adoption. Coming to the resolution, moving forward, here are the resolution we agree upon from the workshop to actively promote the adoption of the revised National Lighting Code across all relevant sectors, to organize training programs and awareness campaigns to help stakeholders to understand and apply the code. Systems will be set up to monitor compliance and ensure the code is properly implemented. And finally, we commit to regular review of the code to keep it updated with the latest lighting technologies and needs. By collective embracing these steps, we aim to make India is a leader in safe, efficient, and human-centric lighting, contributing to national goals of energy conservation, environmental, and enhanced quality of life. Thank you.
Very nicely done that. One particular point which is very interesting that we have over 6,890 engineering colleges and nearly about 30 IITs and NITs. But illumination engineering as a topic is there only in Jadavpur University, started in the late 80s. I think one of the recommendation, because here, if the lighting code has to see the light of the day for appreciation by all departments, the construction department like CPWD, MES, railways, metros, or by the local bodies, also somewhere local bodies, municipalities, municipal corporations, class 1 cities of 500, etc. You require substantial amount of illumination engineers there. That they are the one going to really help us to do that. Not the electrical engineer will do. Agar unko, they require the current to be given for the light to be burned, they will make it available. Even though electrical engineers think that they can do illumination, it's wrong. So why don't we bring out in one of the recommendation which Neha has brought out, of course, a lot of action she said, also the need for bringing it at least in the top 100 colleges, all the IITs, all the top 100 engineering colleges, bring this discipline in a big way. Learn from what Jadavpur has done, including the testing laboratory, illumination testing laboratory. We don't have that. So if you want to really take the thing to a larger level, I understand some of the leading builders, since I had also worked part of my life in the 60 years with some of them. Some of the people, they do check that, leading builders like Hiranandani's or DLF or various other groups there. They do consult very good illumination engineers in a very large way. They take their particular point of view, especially for the type of thing Panse told on different occupancy level type of outdoor lighting to bring the overall impact over there. So my topic is capacity building and need for increased professional inputs for illumination engineers. And what can, if you really talk with the All India Council of Technical Education, I had twice interaction with both the Sahasrabudhe, who was the chairman of AICT, and now it's Sitaram, TP Sitaram. I would advise you to kindly have a one-to-one discussion. He'll be the first one, very happily. He was previously also Guwahati IIT director, by the way, TP Sitaram. So All India Council of Technical Education can suggest to all these colleges to bring in that one. You have lighthouse available in Jadavpur University. Make it forward in a large way. I'm sure they can spread this particular thing. You may like to consider and appropriately to bring that. The subject will be capacity building and capability within the country to understand this importance. Such a otherwise wonderful document of nearly 1,000 pages, 960 pages. I said it's a 3 times that of your earlier version. It's pretty good. It's a fantastic. I just had an opportunity to scan through the pages only. Come out excellently well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for delivering the key takeaways and the resolutions. As a token of appreciation, I would like now to invite Sri Asit Kumar Maharana, Head Electrotechnical Department, to kindly present the mementos to our esteemed speakers. Dr. Sudha Sattva Chakravarti, sir. Miss Bhavna Gasturi. Shri Srikant Panse. Thank you, sir and ma'am. And I also request all the speakers and dignitaries to join us for a group photograph, please. On, Only for the speakers. Here on this one. On only for the speakers we are taking this photograph first, then we will be having the group photograph later outside. On behalf of the Bureau of Indian Standards and the Electrotechnical Department, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Reena Garg, Deputy Director General, and Sri Asit Kumar Maharana for their gracious presence and the invaluable insights. A special thanks to all our distinct speakers for sharing their expertise and perspectives on the revised code. Our sincere appreciation also goes to the organizing team for their dedication and effort in making this event a grand success. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to your continued support in spreading awareness and implementation of the National Lighting Code of India 2025. Thank you, everyone. Please join us for the group photograph, please. Outside.